Take out for him.
You can put the bars in if you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
So live on everything.
Yep.
Any particular you want to talk about before they start the segment? We kind of,
Yeah, intros, I think that's all good.
yeah, the first one we'll just kind of explain who we are.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Ain't getting any readier.
Alright.
Alright, I'll count you in. Ready? Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome. This is the REI Wholesale Academy on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. And my name is AC Ramos, and I am here with,
Clay Cahoon.
and we are here to kind of answer questions and be your guide through the wholesaling industry and kind of open your eyes if you don't know about wholesaling and answer all your questions, like I said. So first of all, I mean, I guess some of them got to meet me before and hear a little bit about myself. I guess introduce yourself, Clay. Kind of let everybody know what's going on and what your experience.
Well, my name's Clay. I got to Houston in about 1987. Went to the University of Houston downtown campus. I graduated, and then I got a master's degree from the central campus. I worked for one of the super major oil companies for about 10 years, and then they sent my job to the Philippines. And I gave real estate a try, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm more of a data guy, an analytics type guy, but I've done some wholesaling, fixing and flipping, just about anything.
Awesome. So how did you how did you get started in real estate? Like that's kind of always the interesting story, right?
Well, as a lot of people did, there was a coach here in town, and she was teaching a foreclosure class, door knocking, the foreclosure list class, so I took that. I didn't much care for that. I found that it worked for her. She has a very great, wonderful smile, a very warm personality, and I have neither of those things.
And a magic wand.
Yeah. And, it didn't really work for me, but I was intrigued by what you could do with it, so I just sort of found my own way and created my own way. And I started a company called Real Acquisitions a few years ago. I don't have anything to do with it today, but I took a lot of what I learned, and with a couple of other guys, I created this amazing tool that helps you find and analyze deals. It's called Real Acquisitions, and I've been solo for a couple of years now.
Awesome. That's funny because I've actually, when I first got started in real estate, and your mentor, I worked with her. I bought a property from her and sold it to one of my cousins who actually bought it, like fixed it up, and ended up living in that house for a while. Ended up selling it later, making a lot of money. It was over in Garden Oaks area, so it was pretty cool.
It's hard to go wrong in Garden Oaks.
Yeah, especially if you bought back right at the right time, right? Anytime before now. So myself, I guess some of y'all know that I started in real estate, almost 20 years ago, and literally it'll be like 20 years. I think it's 20 years like right now. December of '99 is when I started.
I've known you forever.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, that kind of makes me feel a little bit old, but it's good. 20 years, man. I didn't even think about that. So
You just get better with age, like fine wine.
that's what I was saying. I told Ceci, my fiance, I was like, it's a blessing and a curse to be like this. No, to look like me. No, I'm just joking. But so, yeah, been 20 years doing that. I actually started with rehabbing first. So picked up our first rehab deal in December of '99 and rehabbed from December of '99 till about 2003. I ended up getting stuck in a property that we were rehabbing. So that was kind of a blessing and a curse for me right there, right? Because we're rehabbing thinking that we had everything figured out, right? You're making $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, $30,000 on rehabs, and eventually that's like a high paying job, right? Is what I realized once we got stuck in one. Because you're like, man, I need to sell this house, and then eventually when you find out it's not selling and we ended up owner financing it. So we had it on the MLS, we rehabbed it, everything. We had over rehabbed it. That was really our problem.
It's a common mistake.
Yeah, and we were still new. It was me and my aunt was actually she was, I guess she was a business partner technically in that sense, but she was just more like a mother than anything that kind of believed in me and wanted to help. So we were doing that, and we got stuck in that property by over rehabbing it. Again, we were new, didn't really know what we were doing. and had to hold it for 4 years and sold it owner finance. So, didn't have any money. We were using her 401k or IRA, I don't remember what it was, like some one of those retirement accounts. And I didn't even know what a private lender was back then. So I didn't even know she was private lending on the deals and partnering with me like that. But it was a retirement account. We used that. We got stuck with it for 4 years. The money dried up, right? If you don't have the money to buy a house and fix it, I didn't know anything about private money, didn't know anything about hard money, just literally was dead in the water on that one. And that's kind of how I fell into, or that's how I ended up falling out of rehabbing right there, right? So I actually built it up a little bit and was doing good, and then lost everything, collapsed on us, and then that's when I ended up living in a storage room. So everybody, a lot of people that know me know I ended up living in a storage room, and then that's how I ended up getting into wholesaling. And like I said, wholesaling is just that was a life changer for me. Not only a game changer, a life changer. Like when I was living in a storage room and you have your wife, and I actually had my oldest son, who was my only son at that time, living there with us, and it's it's pretty depressing when you feel like you're a person who can't provide for your family and you can't figure things out. And then I heard one of those late night infomercials. It was about 2 a.m. And you can flip houses with no money, no credit, no brains. And then so
They had you no brains, right?
yeah, they had me in no brains. I was like, that's me. I got this. I can't get any more brainless than messing everything up and living in a storage room. So ended up doing that and going to the class and learning how to do that and figuring out the wholesaling thing, right? And that's the thing I love about wholesaling is I was literally at ground zero, right? Literally nothing. Living in a storage room, and just started doing everything that I was taught to do and being coachable about it, right? And ended up making 169 the first year, 14,000 in my first, on the day 28. So day 28 led to $14,000, changed my life. So for you, what do you think was that turning point?
Well, having my job sent overseas was quite a turning point. But I took the class, the door knocking class, and again, I felt it wasn't for me, but that I had learned enough from the class that I could actually do this. And I learned about properties that were delinquent in taxes, especially in Harris County. There are thousands of them. So I began to use that list as a marketing source. So I guess that's what was my turning point.
What was your first deal? What kind of deal was it?
I sent out some postcards, and a guy called me and he said, "I got your postcard. You sent me a card about my dad's property. If you give me $10,000, you can have it." I haven't had another call yet since.
Wow.
Then. But the house was a very bad house on basically 1.4 acres of land. It was off of one of those roads off of the Hardy Toll Road north of downtown. And I borrowed private money and purchased it. So he said, "You can give me $10,000, you can have it." The property was 1.4 acres. It was appraised at 110 by the county, and there was 25 in back taxes.
Wow.
So I borrowed the money, bought the house, and there was a chain link fence on the front of it. And I spent $140, and I got a big sale that said "for sale" and then my phone number. And with some old trash bag zip ties, I zipped it to the chain link fence, and I got about 4 calls a day, and I sold it in about 2 weeks.
All right, so we'll pick up on that. That's a quick way to start, but we are with the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we will be right back with the next segment.
Spot on, man. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's
Awesome.
really,
I think
really
I need
good.
to take my sweatshirt off though.
Yeah, you can take it
Hot
off.
mofo.
Roll your bar stool up a little bit, AC.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm way taller than you
Yeah.
for some reason.
Let me get a little cool air real quick.
Yeah,
It's hard being fat and wearing a sweatshirt.
tell me about it. Where's the clock running on you? Where do you see it?
Right here.
Oh, I got it.
Woo-wee. All right.
You got students next. You know who's going up first?
All right. Yes. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Anybody feel more ready than the other?
Let's get it over with.
All right.
Let's get it over with.
So, do we need to have another bar stool, or should we all stand?
No, I
on
think you
this
should
one?
probably stand for that segment.
Okay. Yeah, let's stand.
Probably squeeze 4 in the camera.
Standing up now.
Yeah, just as close in the blue box as possible. It's okay though, if you're a little bit outside. Perfect. Clay, you're in the shot. You're good. You guys are all in. Perfect.
All right. Cool. Oh, in the blue box.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
live.
Wonderful.
Oh, that's my Facebook Live, and then this
Yeah.
is over here. So yeah, you're on Facebook Live and the radio show. So we're doing it all. All right. Okay. Cool.
Before you go live, if the sponsor's not here for the next one, I'd either bring
We
him.
got Armand's technically with the sponsor.
Okay,
side.
great. So you can bring him in first.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. See you guys in a little bit.
Thanks, man.
No, thank you.
Alright, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Go ahead and grab some headsets real quick.
Oh yeah. Shit. Totally forgot about that. Great.
Either one doesn't matter.
Oh, this feels a lot better. That sweatshirt was warm. Oh yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Alright, you guys ready?
All right. We're good.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome back to REI Wholesale Academy. We are with the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. I'm AC Ramos with Clay Calhoun, and we have a special guest with us today, Jerry Pearson. So, Jerry, man, you know, you're kind of on the spot right now. Tell us, so Jerry is a student of Prosperity Real Estate Group and our coaching program that we have there. We want to spotlight people that are actually hitting it, doing the work, and having success with it, right? You know, so that's why we have Jerry here. And we want to bring lots of these kind of cases to you and case studies because we know what it's like being out there and you know, being in the field and what it's like to have success and actually make things work, right?
Trying to find your way.
Yeah, trying to find your way. So, Jerry, I guess give me a little bit of information on your background, like before you got with us and what you were doing before.
So before I got into real estate, I was driving Lyft, man. So yes, I remember I came to you. I was driving Lyft. Just 2018 altogether, man. I was fired, hired, and I quit all in the same year. So working those long hours, managing a warehouse, 16, 17 hours a day, I was like, there has to be something else that I could be doing. So ended up quitting, leaving there, trying to find a better way, drove Lyft, passing out business cards while I was trying to find something else.
Well, you know, not to cut you off real quick, but I remember when we talked at the hotel, you pulled me aside. I don't even know if you remember, like you were walking out and you were like, hey, I want to do this. I'm driving Lyft right now and I'm trying to put things together. And like, I will never forget that because I was like, if you got that kind of drive, like, cause like you were just telling me everything you were trying to do and you were putting the hustle in, right? Putting the work in and trying to figure it out. And I'm like, man, if you're hustling Lyft or even Uber, all those kind of things, that takes work. That takes a hustle, right?
Yeah, that already shows you have what it takes to hustle.
Yeah.
And I remember also coming to you and telling you, and I was like, hey man, you know, I'm not an entrepreneur. All I do is drive Lyft. And you was like, man, if you're doing Lyft and you're paying all your bills, you're an entrepreneur. You're doing it, man. So I was like, okay. So yeah, man, got tired of driving Lyft, but I, you know, made it happen, and it really just brought out a hustle in me. So, you know, who knows? Maybe that was the turning point in my life. Definitely was. So ended up coming to the your program and was looking for my first deal after that first day of class. You remember how it was when I found that deal in Sunnyside?
Yeah. Good old Sunnyside. I remember Sunnyside when nobody wanted to be in Sunnyside.
Now everybody wants to be there.
Now everybody's there.
Yes. So did that and been running ever since, man. Just been hustling ever since. So I'm doing deals in Houston and in Central Texas. So I've done single family homes, I've done land, anything that I could get my hands on, and the numbers work. That's what I feel comfortable doing. So I'm glad that I'm so adaptable and versatile and able to do these things. And coachable, yes, and coachable.
A lot of people aren't coachable.
Oh, very much so. No, like, and that's, you know, like you said, he was driving Uber or Lyft. That takes a discipline. You know what I mean? The one thing a lot of people don't understand is like, it doesn't matter if you go get a coach or if you go get a mentor or you buy all the books in the world. If you're not gonna implement it and you're not gonna listen and be coachable, it's worthless. It means nothing, right?
Yeah,
If you're not willing to make a change.
Yeah, if you're not willing to make the change, exactly, right?
You definitely have to take action, and I just started this in January. I was in your January class. I've never taken action like this. I was completely out of my comfort zone, but I think one of the things that pushed me was I was completely my back was against the wall. Like it was either this or go back to work, and I knew I wanted to do this, and I didn't want to go back to work. So
you know, I think there's something to be said about that back against your wall. You know, because I mean, like my first deal, I remember I was getting like I got the negative calls. I had a lady tell before I ever got my first deal, before that my 28th day I hit my first deal, coming back and doing all that. A lady called me and said, "Yeah, I'd like to speak to AC Ramos. Is AC Ramos there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I just want to tell you, you are the scum of the earth. You are a vulture that preys on little old ladies whose husbands have died and left them houses." And I'm so sorry. And so that back against the wall, right? I mean, I lived in a storage shed with a kid and a wife, you know?
some of those calls, man, they definitely make you wonder, like,
Yeah,
But-
we all get those calls. I think it's
Yeah.
more their problem than our problem. I mean, it says more about them than it does about us.
correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you hear all of those no's, and then you get that one yes. So like I was telling you, and I'll share, my most motivated seller was my second deal was where the absentee owner, and 30 minutes on the phone, he sent me his key in the mail to his house. I have never seen or heard of anything like that. I was like, far as he knows, I'm a complete stranger, but I built some rapport with him, and I was a subject matter expert, and I let him know that, you know, I can help you out with your problem. And within 30 minutes, he was asking me for my address to send me the key. I couldn't believe it. That's why I really knew, like, hey, you know, I could do this with, you know, with solving problems.
Yeah, when he told me that, I was like, man, that takes some rapport building right there. You know, I mean, I've never had anybody send me the key in the mail in the first 30 minutes on the phone with them, right? So no, but that goes a lot to say that you're personable, right?
Right.
You're a good person you're a good relatable person with people.
Easy to talk to.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Right. So,
Yeah.
yes, it was definitely an experience, and looking to keep it rolling, man.
All right. So give me a little idea of like what kind of, like, before you tell us the income that you're making on the real estate stuff, because I mean, like, that's inspirational, man. What kind of income were you replacing? What did you have to replace to be able to go full time in real estate?
What you mean? Like,
What were you making per month to be? What did you need to make to replace driving Uber and Lyft?
whew. It was a complete life change, man. Honestly, I had to sit down somewhere, and
Well, don't tell them yet what you're making a month. We're not trying to get. I mean, we got another minute here to clear this up. But yeah, tell us like what were you making income wise before with the driving?
with the driving, man, I was pushing for maybe $300-400 a week, man.
Wow.
Yeah, $300-400 a week.
Okay.
So I was hustling for that, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
I talk to people that drive, and like, yeah, I know it's up or it's down, and it's a hard thing to do sometimes.
Yup.
So, how have you been doing since you're? And I know the past 3 months have been pretty consistent. How you
Yeah.
doing on those?
Very consistent, man.
What you make in those months?
11 in August, 11,000 in
11,000.
August. Yeah, 11,000.
That was really his first good.
That was
real,
like-
real month.
That was my first good month, like 3 deals. I was like, oh, let me text AC. Well, I just did 3. And literally the last 2 closed on like August 31st. So that was a big month for me. Hit another few thousand in September. 2 more deals in October. A piece of land and another house. That was like $6,000. And then I just closed on my biggest one this month for $8,300. So
Yeah, because I mean, I know you've been averaging like 8 to 10 grand a month for the
Yes.
past 3-4 months now.
Yes.
So, congratulations, man. That means a lot.
Appreciate it, yeah.
So, I mean, look, guys, Jerry is out here putting in the work and doing it. I mean, everybody has the same opportunities, right? So it's all about what you want to do, right? Like if you take the coaching and you run with it and you do what you're supposed to do and you're coachable, this system works. The stuff works. Wholesaling changes lives. So again, I'm AC. This is Clay, and this is Jerry. We are on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we will be back in just a few minutes. And for the next segment, guys. Bam. Bam. Huh?
I was like, it's hot.
Oh yeah. See, I took off the sweatshirt. You should have took the jacket off, man.
It's not all fun, is it?
It was a hot seat.
That's awesome, man. You don't know how inspirational that stuff is to people. Like it just because I mean like I told y'all. I mean I get more inspired when I hear y'all closing deals and you closing. When you sent me that text, I was literally walking out of a doctor's office or something. And you sent me that text and you're like, man, almost got my first 5-figure deal.
Oh,
and like,
yeah.
And you were like, yeah, you sent me a picture of the check and everything. And I was like, man, you know, and then I was like, well, that doesn't mean you gotta make the next one 15.
Right.
So that was awesome.
Sir.
Thank you, man. I mean, dude, sorry to make you drive all the way here. I mean, if you want to hang around, you can hang around. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Awesome.
Congrats, Jerry.
Thank you
Nice
for
to
coming.
meet you.
Good job, man. Keep them inspired, keep them motivated, keep them hustling.
Nice to meet you guys.
Awesome. So the next section will be us just talking the breakdown of wholesaling and stuff like that.
Let's talk a little bit, I forgot on your notes, but is this where we kind of go into a little bit of detail about the process and what it is? Or
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about
This is,
Who might want to buy with your wholesale, who might be a good wholesaler?
well, yeah. Well, I mean, we have the 9-minute segment to fill with that.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I'll give you the notes and you can kind of lead through it and like we can.
Is this good?
Hold on.
Do you want to sit or you want to stand? It doesn't bother me to do either.
I like sitting.
Yeah, you're good right there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay.
Everybody here, you guys?
It's like butter.
It's my understanding.
No, I mean, dude, he's great. I remember when he came up to me at first, and he was just talking about starting and getting started with everything and getting into the program. And you just know, you can feel when somebody's got their whole heart into it. You know what I mean?
You guys ready?
Oh yeah, forgot about the headsets.
I don't know why I'll be honest, I don't know why we're using the headsets. Wow, microphone, I guess.
No, I got the professional setup here.
Do what the pros tell you to do. You gotta be coachable.
Right?
Are you ready, guys?
Yeah.
Alright, going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome back to REI Wholesale Academy. This hour is for answering questions about wholesaling, and we are on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. I'm AC.
I'm Clay Cahoon.
And so in this section, we want to take a time of each show to be able to talk about actual real estate, like something to do with like what we do and how we do it and the systems and processes, right?
Yeah, remove some barriers.
Yeah, so wholesaling, like this is our topic, right? Our forte. So who would be interested in wholesaling?
Well, everybody should be interested in wholesaling. I mean, I promise you, even the most experienced people, when they put out bandit signs or when they send out postcards or letters or however they do their marketing, you might be surprised. But for example, I put out some bandit signs in a certain part of town thinking my leads are going to come from that part of town. But you get a call from somebody who may have a property in Baytown or in Texas City. They were just driving through that part of town and they say, look, I've got a 2-1 in Texas City that I need to get rid of. Can you help me? You don't want to say, well, that's an hour from my house and I'm not really interested in 2 1s, but you don't want to throw a lead away. So that might be something if the lead isn't something that you particularly like or that fits what you want to do, there's no reason. I mean, somebody reached out to you. First of all, they need help. Second of all, you have the skills to help them. That might be a wholesale that you might like to try. I mean, it could be that the house is much bigger, maybe a 3,000 square foot house that needs a $70,000 rehab.
Maybe not a rental. That
Yeah.
won't be a rental. A
There
3,000 square
are
foot
some-
rental.
there are some folks, I would love that house, but there are some folks that maybe aren't comfortable in trying a rehab of that scale. So that lead comes in, it's a good lead, the numbers work, it's not right for me, but I think I can place it under contract and then find somebody to take over my contract who would be a better fit for that lead.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's exact, right? Like that's an experienced investor that is using it to supplement income in their business, right? And that's exactly right. For me, I like to think of the people just getting started, because I think because of my past and my history with wholesaling, of getting started when I was living in the storage room and having a family to feed, and I mean literally at that time I had lost everything in rehabbing to the point, so I knew the processes and everything, but I had lost everything to the point that having like $20-$30 on Friday was actually a luxury to be able to go to the Chinese restaurant. Like me and my wife would go to the Chinese restaurant, and I mean, I hope the Chinese restaurant's not listening, but she would wrap up as many egg rolls as she could and put them in her purse so that we could eat like the rest of the weekend. So it was that, like, for me, the person who is down and out, or just looking for a way to get started or a new beginning.
So
You know?
it can be a simple process. I mean, it just takes a little hustling. You have to go out and find a deal, place it under contract, and then you find someone else that fits that deal that wants it more than you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key, right? So, and most people don't understand that this is one of the only businesses that I know in any realm or any industry that you can start with relatively nothing. Like, I mean, like I said, I didn't have money to start with, and that's why, I feel like it's a great place to start. Like, I didn't, my aunt did pay for my education, but to be able to start the business and actually do the business, you could do it strictly off a hustle, like looking for like driving for dollars, like all those type of methods. But the fact that you can start with literally a minimal amount of money,
Right.
is that's what opens it up to so many people, right?
Right. You could start wholesaling by just picking a nice part of town or a nice neighborhood and driving through that neighborhood looking for vacant houses. And then there are services. I use one quite a bit. It's called Ben Verified, like you've been verified. It gives you telephone numbers and things like that, but you can put in an address, a single address. It'll come up and say this is the person that owns it. You can click on that person's name, and it'll come up with their email addresses. It'll tell you if they passed on, give you phone numbers, email addresses, all kinds of contact information. If that person is deceased, it will also give you the names and numbers of their relatives.
So for those people that don't know the process of wholesaling, right? So let me kind of just break down the mechanics of it, right? The mechanics of it are, first of all, you have to find deals, right? Finding deals, being able to run your numbers, which when we talk about comps and comparable sales, that's what we're talking about, running your numbers, doing your due diligence, talking to sellers. It's called negotiating, talking to sellers. Like I'm a conversational negotiator, so that to me it's talking to sellers, right? And then being able to contract the property for purchase, right? Getting a contract with a seller, and then being able to find the buyers, right? That's the next process. If you have a contract and you can't sell it, you're not going to be doing very much, right? And then being able to get it all the way to closing, which a title company will help you out with all that. So,
and there are behind the scenes steps for every one of those things. You could break each and every one of those down quite a bit, but we're just keeping it at a high level for this discussion.
yeah. So first of all, you would go ahead and get the purchase contract, right? So tell us a little bit about
Okay. So you find a vacant house, for example, you contact the seller. Yeah, that's my mom's property. I'd like to get rid of it. I live in Dallas and I've inherited this property. I don't know what to do with it. It needs updating. Make them an offer. They accept the offer. You place that property under contract. So you write a contract, you sign it, they sign it, and then you find someone else.
Well, first of all, for example, you get that contract for $50,000, right?
Okay.
Say you get that property, or just hypothetical numbers, right? Like $50,000 on that, and then set the closing for, how far do you set your closings out for?
As far as I can, because I find a lot of title problems, and I don't like to go back and have them sign an extension or something like that. So I personally go as long as I can. Just because you have February 28th on your contract doesn't mean you have to wait that long.
Yeah, exactly.
You can close when everybody's ready.
Awesome. So in our office, we usually do 30 days, unless we kind of figure out that there's we kind of find the motivation and find the problems. And if we think there's going to be a title problem, we'll set it out for 90 days further out.
Exactly.
Majority, most of the time, 30 days, and then we protect ourselves with an exit clause. So for us, we say subject to further approvals, which is like inspections, right? But we don't call it inspections, we say further approval.
Right.
And then the next part is an assignment contract. So then once we find a buyer, now these are just the pieces of it, right? We're not going into everything. We broke down the mechanics, but these are just the main pieces. The assignment contract is how we do what?
How we allow somebody to take over our position. Basically, you take my contract. I can purchase this house for $50,000. You may find someone else who's willing to pay $60,000 for the house. So you would create what's basically a separate contract, another contract called an assignment. You and the buyer would create that contract, and then the underlying contract and the assignment all go to the title company.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically at that point, technically my activity in the transaction should be over.
Yeah, and then the title company handles everything else. So like he said, you turn in the assignment contract or the purchase contract, and then the assignment contract later to the title company, who's a third party that handles everything. They handle paperwork and everything like that. Technically, your job should be done at that point. Title company handles everything, and then you just schedule buyers and sellers to come in. We have our buyers come in first, so that the money's at the title company, and then the seller comes in, and when they sign, they walk out with a check, right? And we get paid by the difference. Got it for 50, sold it for 60, right? So that's how, and then we walk out with $10,000 in our pocket, and that's how we get paid.
And generally speaking, we haven't done any work to the house, or very minimal. But
Oh, yeah,
that's the
yeah.
point. You don't really fix it up. You don't spend a lot of money on it. You just place it under contract, find somebody willing to take it in the same condition, do an assignment contract, a separate piece of paper. The underlying contract, the assignment, go to the title company, and you just kind of have to steward the process to make sure everything works.
Exactly. So again, we'll be right back right after this. We are the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Awesome. All right. Cool.
Are we doing it?
That was good. We didn't finish this part and this part, but it was I just kind of summed it up there at the end.
I think we got the major points.
Yeah, major points. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, that's the complete first show, huh?
I think so.
All right.
Is that the first? I'm sorry, what?
That was the first show.
That was the first show.
The one we're filming today. I mean, I don't. They said they had me recording the other day, and they said it was the first one, but I don't remember it being that many segments. But I was probably nervous and in a blur. So yeah, what'd y'all think of that?
Enjoy it.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
Keep having to remember, you really have to look at the camera, even though there's nobody there, you really have to look at the camera like you're looking
Oh, you
at
know
the
what?
person.
Now we do the sponsor section with him.
Okay.
So that's right. So that's not the first show, right? We still have the sponsor section.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Can we throw out, if you would like to be a sponsor for this show, contact.
We can, but I don't think once we get going, because we're only gonna have 4 that we allow, and we're finding the top people.
Okay.
So I think we got that pretty locked up. Yeah, I think we're good right now. We'll figure it out. All right, you about ready?
Well, I guess let's just get into it.
All right. So we're gonna just talk about like what you do at Cityscape. Like how you manage the team, and you're the person that the reps come to when they need help, and you help them close, and we're looking for more people. Okay. Awesome.
Let's get the.
Yeah, we'll stand on this one too. And keep an eye on the time, because we keep like getting real close on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're on Facebook Live right now.
You gotta remember not to do this too much.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Facebook Live. Hey Susan, Scott, Debbie. Aw, Ceci. She's at the doctor right now getting the baby checked on. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So it's a 9-minute segment. So
This must have been Jerry's.
So first of all, we'll just kind of talk back and forth about, and we'll just talk until it gets about to 5 minutes, and then we'll start talking about that. So we can
Okay.
bounce around talking about whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean about wholesaling and about, we can talk about Cityscape and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'll actually start with how I started Cityscape, because I think that's pretty interesting. I started in Starbucks. Actually started in my garage, actually.
The storage shed, yeah.
Before. Oh yeah. Well, that's true.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. This is REI Wholesale Academy. We break down your wholesaling questions and try to answer all those questions and get you into the loop of what's going on there. I'm AC Ramos. This is Clay Cahoon. And we have Armand Ascari, who's actually right now the manager of the acquisition manager at Cityscape Home Buyers. He runs everything for us and manages and keeps everybody in line there in the acquisition pit. First of all, I just kind of want to say, like, that's where we're at now. Like, Cityscape didn't start like that, and most people that have started in real estate probably can relate. Is like I've said that I lived in a storage shed, and that's when I found out about wholesaling. And kind of my first 30 days of wholesaling was actually in that wholesale. I mean, in that storage shed. But then after that, when we got a house that we took over subject to, and that I found through one of my wholesale leads, took over the house subject to. So I've actually built up rentals like that. And my first house that we ever had for ourselves, my family, was a subject to, and we converted the garage into an office. So I had myself. I had the guy who ran the data, who would pull all the lists and find the properties and like build out all the marketing campaigns and stuff. He was in the office with me, so we had 3 desks, or actually 2 desks, just me and him at first. And I was doing all the acquisitions myself. Like, I was still hanging the bandit sign, so he didn't do all the marketing. Well, he hung out bandit signs with me, I guess. We would go out on Friday nights and be out till 3 or 4 in the morning. So you think people don't go out there and actually put in the work? I've actually been out there putting in the work. And so it started in a garage, or in the storage shed, and then moved on up to the garage, right? And then when I started building out the team, we actually started in a Starbucks. You know where the Starbucks is on Yale, between Yale and Shepherd? It's a little bitty one. And I started finding people people kept telling me, like, I want to work with you, I want to do acquisitions. And I was like, well, I don't have an office, I don't have anything. So I was like, well, meet me at Starbucks.
Yeah, a lot of people start out that way.
Right? You know what I mean? My first person that was my first acquisition person, really, like, that really I brought on and was assisting me and everything, was my cousin Sylvia. She didn't have a job at the time. She was looking for something to do. And I remember I just saw her at like a family member's house, and she was like, what are you doing? And she's like, well, that sounds interesting. I'd be interested in being part of that. And I was like, well, meet me at Starbucks. And so from her and me, it grew to where we had 12 people meeting at the Starbucks every day.
Taking it over.
Or literally, we took it over to the point they kicked us out. Like, they didn't kick us out for saying verbally and say leave, but we had a table that we would sit at that was by the plug so we could have computers hooked up. They moved that table as far away from the plugs as possible. So that's kind of where it started for me in Cityscape. How did you? I know you've done some wholesaling. What was and you said your first deal was a wholesale, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where did you start from? Was it just
I
at
had
your
a home
house,
office.
just home office, just at
Yeah, I
home,
took a bedroom in the house and made it into an office.
right? I mean that's always the best, right?
I now have an office, and I will tell everybody, having a home office is good. That you don't want to rely on a home office if you're running your own business. You really need to
Get out and see the world.
spend the money, find the right place, and get a real office. Having a home office is convenient, but it's difficult to really run a business out of your home office.
Yeah, you get a little comfortable there sometimes, right? That was one of the reasons I went to Starbucks, is because being at home, it does make you feel like, oh man, I need to wash those dishes, or man, I'm gonna go into the kitchen and look for something to eat.
I sure would like a cup of coffee.
Yeah, right. And then now you have the coffee that's in the break room, right? And you just go there and get in there. You're not gonna get distracted between there and here and there with your dog or something like that. So, ask what kind of questions would you have for Armand? I mean, like, cause I know you know the business, you know what I do, but I feel like I want your insight on that and questions for him and from outside the box.
When the phone rings and somebody is responding to some of your marketing, what are some of the most common, what are the signs you want to listen to tell you this person is serious or this person is not serious?
Well, we're really just looking for, motivation and distress, and you'll pick that up, as soon as the phone rings, they'll give you that first address, and you really break the ice with the person, get to know what their problem is, whether it's an absentee owner, they're a landlord, they're tired, the house could be vacant, or let's say it's a probate and, someone's family member died and they don't know what they want to do with the house.
I live in Dallas or El Paso or San Francisco, and what am I going to do with this house?
Yeah.
Right?
Wholesale it. That's what you're going to do.
You're gonna sell it to us.
We're going to wholesale it. They're not.
Yeah, right. You're gonna sell it to us. So once you find the motivation, what kind of goes on from there?
Well, once you qualify a lead, they're a motivated seller. The next step is to, get that property under contract and start marketing it to find your new buyer, to find your end buyer.
So yeah. So back in the day, like I said, I feel old every time I talk about it. The systems I had were nothing compared to the way we do things now. I mean, you've been in the office. You've seen like we have a lot of moving pieces to it. I remember like keeping track of leads used to be me stapling a questionnaire to a HCAD printout.
Sticky notes.
Yeah. I wish I would have been that advanced. but I would have the questionnaire, print out the HCAD, staple it, and then put it on the corner of my desk and stack them up. Like that was my filing system, and that was my lead management system. So you run everything there. What kind of systems are in place?
So you really lose contract once, writing everything down. And, we have a system that we use called the Prosperity Dashboard, which was a system that, AC built out. And it's our CRM. It's our lead management system. Once we get that qualified buyer, obviously before we get the contract and everything in place, we'll put the lead into our dashboard. And once it's in the dashboard,
It's captured.
It's captured. We put in all the information that we extract out of the conversation with the seller, all the motivation, information on the property, all the goodies. And if it's a follow-up, we'll follow up with it on using the dashboard, which helps us keep track of it much easier than writing everything down. And
It's accessible by the whole team, not just one person.
Yeah, and it's never lost. That's the key part is like when I had stacks of paper on the side of the desk, there would be a chance I never saw that again.
I didn't realize that, but sticky notes fall off of the dry erase board sometimes.
Why you find them on the bottom of your shoe when you're going to the
They're
store,
just gone. Somebody put that, just throw them away.
right? So I know. Tell us a little bit. I know you're looking for some more people to the team. What kind of people are you looking for?
Well, if you're willing to come in and do all the marketing, make the calls, talk to the sellers, and, if you're, a real hustler, then, we'd definitely like to have you on the team.
Right? If you're a real hustler and you're ready to commit, Armand's the man you want to talk to. How can they get a hold of you?
Well, you can reach me on Instagram or Montescari. You can reach AC on
What's your
Facebook
give
or
me your
Instagram.
number? Give me a number so you
Or you can, reach my direct line with Cityscape. It's 832-225-6194. That's 832-225-6194. Give me a holler if you think you're,
if you got what it takes.
You got what it takes.
Right?
Coachable.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got anything to add of who this might be good for?
Just anybody who's interested in starting and wants to learn what is this all about, is it right for me? You can find out very quickly at Cityscape.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're interested in being part of the team, contact Armand.
Hit me up.
Yeah, hit him up. So again, we are on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. This is REI Wholesale Academy. Again, we're here to answer your questions. If you have any questions, message me on Facebook. We can answer those on the next section and get it going. So we'll see you on the next segment. And remember, guys, be ready to wholesale. Awesome.
Be ready to wholesale.
Yeah, I mean, they do. You got to be able to hit it hard.
Good job. It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
Good job. Good job.
On the hot seat.
I think my phone's dying. It's plugged in. What's up, guys? Little behind the scenes look. Everybody back here. Hey, guys. Man, we are over here in the Texas Real Estate Radio Network offices and studio. They have their offices up front, and that's Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, and they have their studio out in the back of their office, and it's awesome. Great setup. They have everything. Like, man, this is actually a good little setup here. I like
It's
it.
actually a professional operation.
Yeah, right. They seem like they know what they're doing. Like, don't tell them I said that.
But I want to turn it. But
Start the new year fresh.
I like that actually. Maybe I'll do it for the new year because I do. I always keep a 5 o'clock shadow. Okay. But
I got a 24-hour shadow.
yeah, I do. But every time I think about it, I change my mind. So maybe for the first.
Is this inspired you?
Not really. If I'm being honest. But it's just the longest it's ever been. So every time I think about shaving it off, it's like a little longer. We'll see. We'll see. You open on camera yet?
Nah, my phone's dying. I don't know.
Is it not charging?
Yeah, I don't know what this iPhone's picky about.
Is the other end of that thing plugged in? Has it come?
Yeah, I think it's only when I go on Facebook Live, so I think I have to leave it off Facebook Live for a little bit. So that was actually the end of show 1 right there. Now this will be show 2. So, and again, right here, we'll just kind of banter back and forth for the first 9 minutes. Bring on Alvin and Kelsey, and then there's nobody here. Our other sponsor's not here. So I don't know what we're gonna do about the sponsor. Did Robert say what we would do about this? He was telling me if they weren't here, we would do something else or something. But or I guess we could film that later. I guess I'm not sure. So if they're not here, or the title company, man, nobody's here. None of the sponsors are
Yeah,
here.
you and I are here.
Yeah, I mean, sponsors, man, they don't show up on time. And then we'll do the organizational breakdown. We just got to make sure to be on track on time. Because I notice we start to talk and it starts going, that 9 minutes goes by fast sometimes. Especially in this section. And we got to remember to say something about our mastermind at the end of this. So whenever it gets to a minute, so in the last 30 seconds, I'll end it and can say something about the coaching program at that. So if we can just make sure we end about 30 seconds, I'll take over that last 30 seconds and do that. All right. So what do you want to talk about the first 9 minutes? I mean, we can start talking about anything. But, anything in particular, like cars, Star Wars, anything like that?
Yeah, Star Wars is coming out.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I'm super excited about that. I am ready for that. Have you been watching The Mandalorian? Oh, you said you started?
No.
Or no, you haven't? Oh, you're waiting till the
I'm
end.
gonna wait till the end and then just binge watch.
The end of the whole thing or the end of the...
No, the end of season 1. Whenever they have all the first season.
I was going to say, that you wait till the end of it. Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna wait till the end of season 1 and then
It's
just
like 8 years. I waited for The Sopranos like that.
I'm hearing good things about
Oh,
You guys ready?
Yeah. Almost forgot the headsets again.
it. I did forget though.
So you want to go ahead and talk about Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
Well,
we'll kick off.
Is it gonna, when this thing airs, is it gonna
Say
still?
that again?
I mean, I was just asking because I can go ahead and change the background to whatever you want. Like right now, I have it under as like a Mandalorian background.
Oh, that'll work. Can you put Mandalorian costumes on? I want to wear it for my Mandalorian outfit. You want to bring it in from the right? Say Texas Real Estate Radio Network. And
Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Okay, Texas
yeah,
Real
just say,
Estate
hey, this is
Radio
Clay with
Network.
Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're here with REI Wholesale Academy
REI Wholesale Academy. Texas Real Estate Radio, no,
Network.
Texas Real Estate Radio Network. And I'm just gonna go and we're here with,
Yeah, just say, hey, this is or you can say this is the REI Wholesale Academy, and we're on Texas Real Estate Radio Network. And I'm Clay Calhoun here with AC Ramos.
All right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Clay Calhoun going live with the REI Wholesale Academy, and we are on the Texas Radio Real Estate Network. I have AC Ramos co-hosting me.
Awesome. Yeah, we are here. Like I said, this is this hour that we do once a week is for answering your wholesale questions, being able to open people's eyes to what wholesale really is. Some people think it's just for beginners, or that's your way to get in, but I think there's a lot more to it than that. But you know, that's for us to open people's eyes to, right?
We're just trying to help people understand that you can begin in real estate no matter where you are in life, no matter if you have a lot of money, if you have no money. All you need really is the time.
And you can grow past that. Like literally, we have a wholesale business that is scaled to where we don't just do wholesale. So I mean, you have rentals, you have all kinds of stuff. I mean, like just for us, with me and my fiance Ceci, we buy rentals and we buy houses to flip, and so we do all the different aspects of real estate. Wholesale is just the baseline. You know what I mean? I believe it's the foundation that you should run your business off of because of all that.
And again, everybody should be wholesaling because you don't know, you can't control the leads that come in. You might have leads for a piece of land and you don't want it, but it's a good one. Or you may have a lead come in that's for a 3,000 square foot house and needs a $100,000 rehab. Maybe that's not right for you, but you can find someone else that is a better fit for them.
Yeah, and we're going to be breaking down the organizational breakdown of the way we have everything broken down at Cityscape in just a little bit here in another segment. But I know you're a Star Wars fan. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Are you ready for the new episode coming out on Friday? The new movie?
I bought tickets on the first night they were pre-sale, and I got them on the 21st, so I'll be going on the 21st.
Well, did you see there was George Solis on Facebook was posting like get together the real estate group to try to go all in the same night. And I was like, man, I want to do something like that so
I don't know
bad.
how you manage that to get all those, because I mean those tickets are just going like that.
Well, I think that's the thing is because even with me, I was like, you know, I mean, we got 5 boys. Me and Ceci have 5 boys, and we're actually pregnant with our first girl right now. Or she's pregnant. I'm just co-pregnant.
Get along for the ride.
I'm just co-pregnant. I'm just here for the ride. She's having to do all the hard work there on that one. But I was kind of worried about, you know, because she's literally due January 28th, which is about a month after the show comes out this Friday on the 20th. But that was my thing for getting the thing is like she's so pregnant and being able to go. So I'm going to wait till it's a little less crowd and stuff. But I'm super excited for that. And The Mandalorian, like, okay, so for me, I watched them all. We've had Disney Plus, but I finally got a chance to sit down, and once I watched one episode, I mean, if you haven't seen The Mandalorian,
no spoilers.
Oh man, yeah, no spoiler. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but it is really good. It's probably one of the better Star Wars stories that I like because it fills in so much. No, it's not a secret as far as it's about like the history of like Boba Fett, Jango Fett, stuff like that. They're what, you know, where they came from, that kind of stuff. Right. But I started watching the first episode, and then I just couldn't stop, you know. And there's only 5 or 6 episodes, but I watched them all this week.
Right.
And you were telling me that you want to wait, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen any. It looks like some kind of Western. Looks basically, The Mandalorian seems like basically a cowboy.
It's a lot like that. It is a lot like that. So
I'm waiting.
I'm not trying to give anything away, but yes.
I'm waiting for them to get all of season 1, and then I'll jump on board and watch them all.
Yeah, you told me you want to wait till the end to watch them all, and I was like, "Are you gonna wait till the end of the whole series?" And I was like, that thing could take years. I remember, you remember The Sopranos?
Oh yeah.
So I don't like watching shows that are, you know, series usually, and I've got hooked on a few now because of Ceci has got me watching a few, and we started watching. But I like to wait till the end to watch something. So The Sopranos, it went on for years, right? So the week before the final episode of Sopranos, I watched like 80. There's 81 episodes, so it was like almost about 81 hours of Sopranos in a week. I was literally in front of one of my rehabs. It was a rehab I did not far from where we're at. We're in the middle of the heights of Houston right now. And I remember sitting in front, and I had this like an adapter plugged into the cigarette lighter that had a plug in there, so I could plug in my laptop. And I watched all 81 hours of The Sopranos in 1 week to be able to watch the final episode, which was a major letdown for me for The Sopranos. But
Right.
yeah,
Kind
but
of ended on a freeze frame, right?
yeah, like it was a blackout kind of screen. Oh, sorry. If you haven't seen The Sopranos by now, though, I don't think you're gonna watch it later.
Well,
So.
it's years long. It's your fault.
Yeah, right. It's like it's been 10 years. I think you're a little late. So yeah, when you said that, I thought that was pretty interesting. What do you like, the old Star Wars, or are you more of a fan of?
No, I like the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I
Yeah.
don't like the Ewoks. It kind of goes off the rails with the Ewoks.
You don't like the Who doesn't like the Ewoks? Man, that might be a sign of you might have something against furry people.
I don't think the Ewoks can take down the 501st Elite Legion, so it seems a little silly.
Well, they had a Jedi on their side, though.
No, he was up in space with Vader, but anyway.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that was it went off the rails when the Ewoks showed up.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the older ones better. So what are you looking forward to the new episode for? What do you think it's going to fill anything in, or?
I just hope it does a better job than The Last Jedi. I've kind of come to grips with The Last Jedi. I mean, it's a Star Wars movie, I'll take it. But first go through, it's like, what the hell is this,
The one that threw me off was Rogue One. I mean, because it was more of a to piece everything together kind of show. But yeah, that one kind of threw me off there.
Yeah, they put that in to sort of plug. Everybody was like, why would you build a giant killer space station and have this one weakness in there? It seems kind of silly. And they sort of explain where that one weakness came from.
Yeah, awesome. So that's definitely it.
Yeah,
The Mandalorian. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to drop any hints on them. I'm trying to keep from telling you something about the Mandalorian.
Oh,
so
that's fine. Yeah, I understand there's a baby Yoda somewhere in there, so.
Oh gosh, I mean that's not really a secret. He's on every meme on Facebook, right? So if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, one of the main reasons to see The Mandalorian is the adorable baby Yoda, right? So I think he's adorable. He's so cute. He just does things that just, I mean, he acts like a baby, but really he's not that young or whatever. But it's just cute to see a little Yoda and his big ears and his, and I don't know if it's really Yoda. I haven't figured all that out yet. I mean, it's not Yoda. It's after all the Empire movies and everything like that. But that's kind of cool there. And I'm looking forward to it piecing some of the stuff together of what happened to everybody after Empire and after A New Hope and all the older ones, because this is after that. So this is after the first, because they bounce back and forth with all series. So A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi were actually 4, 5, and 6, episode 4, 5, and 6. So this is piecing together after that. So you're getting to see I'm hoping to see more of some of those people after that show, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for out of all that. Again, we are going to be back in a few minutes with a section breaking down our organizational chart in our business. So that's what we're going to be breaking down in today's episode. And right after this, when we come back from the next break, we're actually going to be having a student spotlight. And we're going to be surprising you with another student and case study of somebody who's really taking action in the business, somebody who is putting in the work and making things happen.
Someone who is where you are not that long ago and decided to make the change and see if they can make it in real estate.
Exactly. And I see it all the time. And I say it when we do our seminars and talk like that. It's like I see people sitting in that seat or that seat, and now they're sitting up on a panel talking about their success. And that's kind of what we're going to do right when we come back. So again, we're REI Wholesale Academy on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we'll be right back, guys.
So it's not Baby Yoda? I thought it was Baby Yoda.
I think it's
just the same species?
It's the same species, and people were talking about how it's maybe Yoda's love child. Which is kind of hard to guess there.
I thought it took place in a different place on the timeline. I thought.
Or whatever, and
yeah, he's the kid that saw his dad's head get chopped off, right?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Mace Windu.
Yeah, by Mace Windu. But the Mandalorian is that the same race or same tribe. I guess it's more like a tribe because I don't think they're all the same race. And what I've heard is Boba Fett will actually come out later in the show because like in the cartoon, in the books, the comic books, he didn't die
Right.
in the Zorlak when the Zorlak ate him. You know, we're nerds in case y'all haven't figured it out. All right, I think I can get the Facebook. I think I have enough juice to get the Facebook Live going again.
Yeah, Susan sent me a message saying that you cut off.
Yeah, no, I'm fixing to get it going again. My
It didn't seem to be charging and Facebook living at the same time.
Can I post this?
yeah.
Like
I
a
mean,
picture?
is that cool?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more than welcome to do the space is y'all space, to be honest. Y'all go
Awesome.
ahead and y'all do whatever y'all want.
Oh,
I
thank
already
you.
posted it in my story.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling it'd be cool. I just didn't want
Yeah.
to step on any toes.
No, y'all go ahead. As long as y'all just start making like a whole bunch of like noise, that way it interferes with like the radio show.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're here live. Look at them on the radio show.
Should have brought a green shirt so I can just blend in.
So who was the other? It's y'all at 10 o'clock, right? That's what I told y'all, right? And yeah, because y'all two are the 11 o'clock. So Raven and David. So awesome, we are back on. So we'll do Kelsey and Alvin, and then we will go. I think where Alex was, huh?
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Which-
It's weird because it is 11.
Is it?
Yeah. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. It's not a big deal.
Oh man. Oh yeah, because we got a little cut. Well, this is we're finishing up the second show and then third and fourth show.
enjoying watching the process. So.
Me too.
Awesome.
not hard on
You can
us
chill
right
if you
now.
want, Armand. Armand, you can chill here if you want, or if you want to go. Yeah, I'm not holding you here, but if Neff is there too, if you need to get with her. But yeah, I mean, feel free to hang out for a little bit. All right, so we'll do that. We'll do Kelsey and Alvin, and then I think Alex is somewhere around here. We'll get Alex out here, and then we will break down the organization. So let's, yeah, Kelsey, Alvin, y'all want to come figure out your headsets?
One tip, when you're talking, it's a little anti-intuitive. Naturally, you want to talk to us.
Okay.
But it's probably better if you pretend that little camera is a person and speak to the person,
Yeah.
even though there's nobody technically there.
I watch Jason and Robert on the show, and they're so smooth and natural about it. I'm like, man, that comes with experience, though, right?
Yeah. Make sure this fits and
Yeah, we just gotta stay in the box. So
just stay in the box.
I'll be on one edge, Clay will be the other, and good thing y'all are little.
We all in?
Yeah, you're all good.
Oh yeah.
So we'll talk till the 5-minute mark. At the 5-minute mark, we'll start going into their story, and then 2-minute mark, we know start winding it down, and then at 30 seconds, I'll take over and close it out.
Okay.
And you can bring us back in.
Okay, REI Wholesale Academy with the Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to keep track of.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Clay Cahoon with the REI Wholesale Academy on the Texas Radio Real Estate Network. I'm here with AC Ramos.
Hola, and we have Kelsey and Alvin with us today.
Hello.
So this is our student spotlight, case study kind of section of the show. Again, before we get into their story, being able to touch, move, and inspire many different walks of life, right? It doesn't like wholesale. It doesn't matter your economic background, your race, your color, your creed, your belief system, anything like that. It's about, like you said, being coachable, right?
Absolutely, and I honestly think you would do better. The people that do better are the people who honestly want to help. I mean, for example, there are times when, my main source of leads is folks that are behind on property taxes. Well, there are, if you're over 65, or if you have medical issues and you're in tax trouble, there's actually a free form that you can download from the HCAT website, and you can say, look, I'm over 65, or I've got some medical issues that prevent me from working, and I can't pay my property taxes. You can file those two forms for free, and you can defer or postpone your property taxes. And
Really?
there are many times where I will speak to an older lady, for example, and she's like, look, they're about to take my house, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm like, well, pardon me for asking, ma'am, but is it possible that you're over 65? Well, yes, I am. Okay, ma'am, you know, I'll explain it all, and then she'll say, well, I can't get to the internet. Let me confirm, is this your address, and is everything, is that right? She'll say yes, so I've got a stack of them on my desk, I'll take 2 of them, put them in an envelope, and I'll send it to her, and I'll follow up in a couple of days, and I'll just, did you get my envelope, things like that. But I mean, I honestly think we're here to help, and there's enough business to go around. I don't think we need to start taking old ladies' houses when they just need a free form.
Well, you know, that's exactly right, right? And I tell people all the time is like, I believe, I mean, and this is just my personal belief system, everybody's entitled to their own. If you chase the dollars, if you go chasing money, like the money runs from you. So if you're out there to take advantage of people, you're out there to just do things the wrong way in this business, I have a feeling it just, like, to me, it just doesn't work out for you. There's always something that goes wrong and the money hides, right? It just runs away from you. If you really find the problem, you find how you can help the person, the money just comes to you, right? Because we make money by solving problems, right? So, and I know you deal with a lot of tax delinquents, so even if like you could help her get your taxes lowered or whatever, she might decide, I don't need the house, I'm gonna sell it to you. Or, hey, you know what? I got my friend who's 65, 70 years old down the road, and she just wants to get rid of her house because she wants to retire or move to a smaller place, whatever the situation is. When you help the person, you may not get that deal, but they're going to remember who you are and bring other deals to you. Right? Have you had that experience?
I have.
Yeah.
And I've had people that you talk to them and exactly that happens. Well, you know, I'd like to keep my house. Well, you know, is this situation okay? You can fill out this form, but then you get a call 6 months, 8 months later, and maybe they changed their mind.
Yeah, no, and we get a lot of referrals, even from people that we've actually closed their houses. People will call us back and say, hey, you bought my house a few years ago, my cousin or my uncle needs to sell their house now. Is there any way you could help them out, right? So, so for us, it's all kinds of stuff. We deal with a lot of, it ends up being probates for us a lot, like inherited properties, because, I mean, I know you target tax delinquents, that's your main source. We do a lot of absentee owner stuff that ends up being where how it ended up being an absentee owner was, you know, they inherited through something. Now they've actually gone through the whole probate process or the affidavits of heirship, which we'll get into in another show or something, because there's a whole process to that, right? But now they own a property and they live in another state or another side of town, and they don't know what to do with it, right? And it becomes a liability, right?
Yeah, it needs 30,000 in repairs.
30,000 in repairs. It's sitting vacant. We had an old lady who had one in Oak Forest neighborhood. House was boarded up. Her biggest concern was liability of children and teenagers going in there and partying and getting hurt or something like that.
Starting a fire or something.
Yeah. So again, we have Kelsey and Alvin here. They are our spotlight for today. How y'all doing, guys?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Great. So I just want y'all to start by breaking down, telling us like where you were when you first started getting into real estate, before you got into real estate. So don't jump too far ahead. Yeah, what were y'all doing and how'd y'all come across everything?
So we recently moved from Virginia almost a year ago now. It'll be a year next month actually. 2 weeks after moving here, I got into a car accident and I broke my wrist and I needed surgery and stuff. On that same day, I was actually offered a job, and then they told me they couldn't wait for me. So I was like, all right, well, then I didn't know what to do, you know? And I was pretty down. Applied for a lot of jobs because I got my bachelor's degree in December, and nothing happened. I went on a lot of interviews, nothing happened. That brought me down as well. But then I started looking into real estate investing more because I had been introduced to it in the past, but never actually took steps to, move forward. So in, I think it was July, we found Prosperity, and that's when we attended a 3-day seminar and whatnot.
So y'all didn't have any real estate experience?
No, not at all.
We've been to a seminar before back in Virginia, but it wasn't enough to get us like motivated enough to get in and start doing it, just because we always had the thought that, we're possibly going to be leaving the state soon, so we didn't want to put in all this work. And it was just like another excuse. So once we got over here, we just
So tell us about your first deal. How did that So you got in the program. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
literally what we do is just we teach you what to do, right? You got to do it. So tell me what you did and how y'all found your first deal.
Right. So Alvin was working full time until last month. So it really fell on me to put in, implement what we were learning. And I told people what I was doing because I had an old friend or acquaintance that lives in Houston. He was like raised here, so I know he knows people. And then I would pull lists from the dashboard, the prosperity dashboard, and I would manually skip trace them, and I would text them or call them, or both.
Yeah, we were really tight on money, so we didn't have a lot to invest into, like getting it paid to get skip traced or paying for like $1 to call for us. So we paid with time since we didn't have too much money. So it was just like a drawn out process of what it really can be.
Let's test drive this, see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so you found the property.
Yeah,
and then
so
how'd you find a buyer?
I
Okay.
texted him, and he didn't respond till the next day. So I had forgotten about it, and then the next day when he did respond, I texted back, and he responded the following day. So he was a very slow texter. Like it took a little bit, but it was a vacant lot, cleared lot that he wanted to sell, and he told me like $5,000 up front. And I said, all right, I wasn't sure if the numbers worked, but I went to you. And you were like, lock it up. And I said, okay.
Right.
So,
right. So that was the first deal, the one.
Yeah.
That
that was the first one that closed. The other one I actually got under contract first, but that one took like 2 months of following up with her and like seeing where she was and her thought process, because she had tried like to go to Open Door for an offer, and then they told her they weren't offering in that area. And
so how long did it take you to get both of those deals closed?
so the lot, it took about 3 weeks, and then the other one took from when I got it under contract maybe 5 or 6 weeks.
How much y'all make on both of those?
So on the lot, we made $6,000 after all the costs and stuff, and on the house we made $7,000.
7. So about $13,000. And that's when about your first month and a half then, right?
Yeah.
So
simple.
$13,000. So that's life changing, right?
Yes.
Guys, wholesaling, life changing, right? Not just game changing, life changing.
Not only is it the money, but it's the verification that you're on the right track, that this is something that can work for us.
Right? So again, we're on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, guys. We're here to spotlight people that are putting in the work and doing it. Thank you guys for sharing your story, because you don't know how inspirational that is. And we are the REI Wholesale Academy, and we are on Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we'll be right back, guys.
Fast.
That's awesome, man.
I feel like I didn't let Alan talk. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
No, that's a good balance.
I figured Alvin was being quiet on purpose. He does that.
I'm like Kelsey, you cash out Kelsey.
You're the rocks.
I'm like, what's
She
my
made you cut your hair?
coaching? I had an appointment. I was like, I'm gonna get fresh up.
That looks good. That's good.
Beard fresh,
we were going through y'all pictures and getting presentations ready and stuff like that for the stuff at the office, and there's that one where you're looking back like that with your hair, and then she's in the corner. It looks like such a photo shoot shot. Like they look like models.
The funny is, it was a photo
It was?
shoot.
Oh, okay.
Because we made those hoodies.
Yeah.
So we did a photo shoot for our hoodies.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh man, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much.
Stick around. I'm gonna watch these.
Yeah, we'll be here.
That's okay. Thank you. Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
And then I guess we need to find
Thank
Alex.
you. Thank you.
Let me go see if Alex is over there. Grab Alex.
You good? I don't know why I'm not nervous about this.
No? That's good. I got
You're all
nervous just
right
being
when I
on the
was
spot.
It just depends. Sometimes I'm shy and passive, sometimes I'm not.
So the thing about these deals is even if you feel nervous, nobody can tell.
Right.
So we did our meetings on Facebook Live for 2 years, every day. Sometimes I would be nervous to meet people. I see a couple watching, there's 20 people watching.
Oh, how's it going? Going pretty good. Good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alejandro, good?
It's true.
How many shows we through?
We just finished. Oh, we're doing this. Hang on. We're on show 2.
Okay.
We're on segment 7 right now.
Segment 7, agree?
Oh, I get. Yeah, he's all technical about it.
Good.
So segment 7, and yeah, we're gonna do the sponsor right now with Alex, and then our breakdown section.
Great. All right. I'm here.
Awesome. Oh,
Never had this many people.
Oh, look good.
What?
Air conditioner on.
hey, I bring an entourage. Bring an entourage.
entourage.
Right? I come with my crew. All right, yeah. Hey guys. Awesome. Getting a lot of people here. So, where did Alex disappear again? Oh, there you are. You're in the dark shadow over there. What are you doing there?
But what do you want me to do?
We can get a headset, and then it's a 9-minute segment. So I just kind of want to talk about first of all, I want to touch on the points of how y'all help wholesalers, because I know it's a matter of wholesalers don't always have transactional funding to get deals done. Being able to line your buyers up with funding.
Okay.
You know what I mean, stuff like that. And then we'll just kind of let you run with it. You know what I mean?
All right.
And then as we have questions that going off what you say, then we'll just kind of bounce off that.
All right, cool. Where's that? On our cameras, right? Okay, it's right.
Yeah, it's right there. That's my Facebook Live, so you can wave to everybody. Facebook Live, guys.
How you doing?
Alex from Jet,
All right.
Mr. Rico Suave. He's got the fancy stash.
I sent away for it. I have 3 more payments. It's mine.
Well, I was looking for the strings that wrap around your ears to hold it on, but
It was sort of a tape and a glue.
tape and
Was it
glue.
Amazon Prime? Did
Yeah,
take
it
2
came,
days?
and so no, I didn't pay for shipping.
Free.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, you can bring it in.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Clay Cahoon with the RAI Wholesale Network Academy.
On the Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
Texas Real Estate Radio
It's a little bit of a tongue twister,
It
right?
is. A lot to keep track of. A lot of moving parts there. And I'm with AC Ramos.
Hey guys, how you doing? And we have Alex from Jet Lending today. So, Jet is our lending sponsor on the show, and so we are so awesome and happy to have you here. Thank you for sponsoring us and being part of it, actually, because Jet does a lot to help wholesalers in the city.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to be asked to sponsor. Easy choice for especially when you're involved.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
And yeah, we do a lot of stuff for wholesalers. A lot of us just look as like hard money lenders for people that are buying and fixing, or buying and holding for rent, or even commercial. But we do a lot for wholesalers, and it's one of the easiest things that we do.
Yeah, well, I don't think a lot of people think that how's a hard money lender going to help a wholesaler? That's what people think, right?
Right. Well, here's a couple different ways that you can do it. First way is, let's say you're a wholesaler, let's say you're seasoned, or you're even new into the business. One of the things that some wholesalers do is, especially when you're trying to sell to other investors, you know that investors are probably going to be using hard money financing. What they'll do is they'll even say, hey, listen, I'm going to be trying to position this and sell this. I know my guys are going to be using hard money. Most likely they're going to be using Jet. So can you take a look at this for me? All right, here's some pictures. I think the after repair value is this. I'm thinking about putting it under contract at this. Looking around, I see what the pictures. I think the repairs are this. So within like 24 to 48 hours, what we'll do is we'll look at everything and say, hey, if you ordered appraisal today, I think the value would be this, and this is why. Looking at your pictures, statistically, this is what I think the repairs would be. If somebody used financing, this is what their loan would look like. So the way that you're picking it up, do you think statistically you could sell it for what you want and make the spread that you need off your assignment to make their profits to continue on in business? The second thing we do is, let's say that the assignment, let's say it's a large assignment. The largest transactional funding assignment I ever did was the wholesaler made $281,000.
Oh God, I wish that was ours.
It was a commercial deal, and they normally you come to closing and the buyer sees that, or seller sees that. Most likely there's going to be some negotiation coming at title, like they're like, listen, do this or we ain't closing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people use that for what's called transactional funding. What that is so let's say AC here, he's the wholesaler. Or no, he's the seller. I'm the wholesaler and he's the buyer. Well, I'll get a contract with the property. I'll have a good assignment on it. Then I sell it to him. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll close the A to B transaction and the B to C transaction. So there's two closing in one day at the same title company. And that's what transactional funding is. We need very little information. We just need to make sure the title company is involved to how it can close, so you can close more confidently and know you're going to be getting your assignment at closing.
Right? And that, I mean, like you said, like I've never had an assignment that large, but I have had a few large ones that like the buyers will balk at sometimes. And for me, it's like I usually have backup buyers and keeps from that situation. But just recently, we had a buyer that tried to strong arm us at the last second. It was only going to be a 24/5 assignment, you know what I mean? Nothing like that, but 24/5, and they literally saw how much we were making, and they knew it the whole time. But the day of closing, they came back and tried to strong arm us, and they tried to get us to take like 8 or 10, from 24/5 down to 8 or 10. They did get us down to 16/5, which we took a hit. We should have went ahead and went with the transactional funding in that case. I just didn't know it was going to be a problem, but that's how you can save yourself that headache.
Right. And another thing that we do with wholesalers is, if you really are going to grow that wholesaling business, understanding finance, just because you yourself may not be buying today, or you plan to buy, understanding financing not only is going to position you how to buy your properties better, but also knowing what your back-end people are going to be doing. So if you buy something and you know they're going to be using a hard money lender, most rates and terms are going to be similar. Whether they put things in their funds and they say, oh, I'm going to charge you this, but it's hidden somewhere else. Jet doesn't have hidden fees. We just tell you what it is. But so everything is pretty similar. So if you understand the financing, you understand how you have to buy it for the profit margins you want. Also, if you use someone like Jet, you can control both aspects of the closing. Okay, so you can make sure that your seller and you are agreement how we're going to close, how your buyer and you are going to close. You know that you have direct access with a lender. Being involved in lending as a wholesaler is just as important as your other operations. So add information about lending and who you're using within your operations and your business so you can be more successful.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Clay, I know you know, I mean, you understand the wholesaling side. Have you ever lined your buyer, like when we wholesale, have you ever lined your buyer up with a lender and helped them get the lending?
I've never had to do that, but I have done some double closes in my time, so I know the importance of the process. And you have a nice juicy assignment fee, and you're like, I really, you know, I don't know if I want somebody. I'm not 280, 90,000. That's amazing, but,
Right.
you know, something that makes sense. And you're like, I don't really know that I want a lot of people to know this. And there is a way that you can do, even if you don't have $100,000 to do it, you can actually come to you, and if the deal's right, you're actually willing to loan, say, $100,000 for a couple of hours to allow me to buy the property and then walk into the next room and sell the property at double close, and I don't have to put up any of my own money.
Right, and getting used to dealing with lenders, because you'll hear this from your buyers. Oh, the lender needs more time, or the lender's holding things up. Listen, I have 50 million out on the street today. I'm not running out of money. So if someone says, well, you know, the lender, they need more time, there's something amiss. You're out of the loop. When you're dealing with the lender side of things, you're now more involved. I even have wholesalers that will broker the loan. They'll get the house, and they'll say, listen, I'll take care of all your funding. Let me control it. So they'll say, hey, we're going to broker this loan over to you. So they take care of everything, and it's another form of income.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Another point is so when we blast out our emails and we get buyers that come in, like for us, like what I was asking you is like, if we tell somebody, hey, look, if they're like, oh, I'm gonna work with a lender or my funds are tied up. Hey, we got a lender that can get this done for you right away. You line your buyer. That's a resource. Like you said, it can be a way of income, but to the buyer that you're lining up the lender with, you know, that's a resource that you're helping them with. That's an obstacle you're helping them overcome. Do you think they're going to be more likely to buy from you, right?
Right. How do you make more money by not doing much of what you're already doing?
Exactly.
And how can you improve your relationship with your clients?
Exactly.
Plus, it also gives you negotiation leverage when you can say, look, This is pre-approved by Jet. I know I can get this because the hard money lenders that have looked at 5,000 deals before me say this is a deal and they're willing to fund it at this. So I mean, that gives you some leverage.
And this is what the loan would look like.
Right.
So you're packaging your properties with the loan.
So how did they get a hold of you? If they're looking, remember, Alex just said he had 50 million on him right now. So don't be meeting him in the street right now. But how did they get a hold of you?
I mean, you can always go to www.jetlending.com. You can just reach us out online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
You could come to your meeting.
Come to our meeting every third Wednesday
yes.
of the month. Anywhere from 800 to 1,000 people show up.
Where is that?
That is at the Republic Barbecue.
Yes.
That's in Stafford.
Yeah, it's in the Houston area near airport near 59 in Southwest Houston.
Yeah. Any of those, and just really, and if you are watching this and you need to get a hold of me directly, just alex@jetlending.com. We'll make sure that you're partnered with the right person that's going to help you grow your deals, and we'll take care of you.
Awesome. Again, yes, so reach out to Jet, reach out to Alex, get your funding done for your deals. If you're a wholesaler, line your buyer up with funding through Jet and Alex and get that done for them. Again, we're Texas Real Estate Radio Network, REI Wholesale Academy, and we will be right back in the next segment, guys. Awesome.
It's almost like he's done that before.
I'm actually getting pretty good at that. I guess, what I do is we need to get little clips up here to be able to hold the phones. Like, is it okay if we call you A-Rock?
Go ahead.
So it's awesome. Jason calls him A-Rock, and they call him A-Rock like D-Rock from Gary Vee. And I was like, dude, I love that.
That's pretty funny.
So I was like, A-Rock, we need to get some little holders up here and hold the phones. And that way everybody's on Facebook Live. I see Jason on there all the time.
Oh, well, okay. He's on there just because he's fixing his hair and stuff.
He's fixing his cars, getting his cars ready.
Do you need me for anything else?
No, dude, that was it. Awesome.
Okay.
Brother,
Awesome.
I appreciate you being here, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
No,
Nice
man.
seeing you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Don't look so excited when we come back. But but yeah, so just let me know. We'll come back. We'll come back. And
Okay, yeah, we're gonna be, so we'll do this once a month. You'll be on the show, and then every week y'all are gonna have a commercial on there.
Okay.
I don't know how we'll do the commercial part of it. He said.
Do you need like
So
images
kind of-
or anything like that?
I will find out. I'm kind of just flowing with it right now, figuring it all out myself. This is our first day.
All right, because I've been sending you like pictures like when I'm in the shower and stuff. And you haven't responded.
Yeah, I kind of ignored those. I was kind of.
All right, no,
So those are actually coming to me.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Well,
I forwarded him because he likes that kind of stuff.
all right. I'll see you guys later. I'm sorry. I'll see you. Bye.
Awesome. All right, so now we're gonna do the breakdown section of the org chart, everything like that. So of how the structure of the business. So what do you think so far?
Yeah, it's fun. It's good. Having fun.
Awesome.
Anybody know what happened to V? She took her purse. She has my phone.
I think she left you
I
here.
think she's at the pawn shop with your phone right now.
Yeah. Just left me to die. Okay. All right. Good to know.
She was posting on my Facebook Live right now, so she might be outside saying stuff.
Phone
My
down.
phone fell.
Cybertruck on Mars.
Oh, yeah, but yeah.
This is like my dream monitor right
She's
here.
not too far. She's
Yeah.
got my phone.
That LG aperture is 43 inches.
She's coming in and out.
Ridiculously big. I've never seen one in
Okay,
person,
that
but
makes sense.
it's so nice.
Too big for all the desk.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Yeah, I went to Walmart.
Any questions? Cynthia, what's going on? Cynthia, Jessica.
This is not practice, actually.
Yeah, it's very.
Beauty, how you doing?
All
right.
Nothing definitive.
That's really good when you got
Yeah.
That's what he always
You gotta check with the box, right?
Yes. We didn't get to touch on that part. We got so fast. Like I was saying,
Yeah, I'm done.
he's always like, it's her. I was like, dude,
I've,
you support
So
someone.
many of them are in town, but I'm pretty sure I can do
I
that.
see people that
They're like
are
scattered
not
around. They have different locations. I get confused by.
almost the opposite, just negative about it, and that
Kirby.
you'll
Maybe I'm
never
exaggerating, but I just feel like
Yeah.
it just doesn't work.
I don't know.
Environment.
Everybody always talks about local food.
I guess we could
We have the same.
jump right.
Yeah.
You told me about that before. That does sound good, actually. I don't even really.
So if you need, so what I'll do is I'll just kind of we'll go to each thing. So
Oh,
Like if you
really
want, like
cool.
I'll break down this part right here,
It was just such a,
and
a
then
short term like thing
you
posted
can
on Instagram.
ask,
And
like
I mean,
say,
I've
okay,
had a lot
so
of
what does the
people like
CEO do?
that.
What is this?
So,
What is that? And then I can break
one of the
down
best networking
or however
events
you want
I've
to do
been
it.
to.
Yeah, that's fine. Well,
No,
CEO,
so it was just
what they
to
do
get
is easy.
everybody together.
That's what everybody says.
from a
And then-
concept.
From a concept.
Concept is easy.
Like,
Well,
literally
you just hold everybody
like,
accountable,
it was,
including
like,
yourself.
natural for them to be
Yeah, that-
talking. It
well,
wasn't even the
you
point,
just-
Actually, the
like,
COO is more the
so
accountability
it was cool 'cause
person.
they
Well, then
talked for a
you
little while
hold
on
the
Ashley
COO
really,
accountable.
and then
Yeah. Let's see,
like,
the
okay, everybody
CEO is
networked,
more
and
the
everybody was there for
I'm the
an hour and a half
visionary and
trying
not
networking,
the
like,
person you want holding
people were
anybody
in the
accountable for
room,
anything.
nobody was like, you know,
It's
on
like
the sidelines,
I
just,
do
like,
a lot.
everybody
I'm
was
pretty
just connecting, so
active
it was
and
really cool. I met some cool people.
pushing and getting stuff done, but you know,
Wasn't it-
remembering
it was
stuff
just
and being
like,
organized, not my
you
forte.
follow Ben Buddy's house
You guys ready?
or
Awesome.
flipping a house on
You can
Instagram.
bring it in.
We're gonna go live in
Just
3.
following the guys behind.
I'm
One of the
texting
guys
you
from
right now.
OC at
Hi, this is
Nation.
Clay Cahoon on the REI Wholesale Academy on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. A lot of moving parts there.
Man, every time you're getting better though.
I know.
We can go ahead and try it again right now.
Okay.
Oh, you want? Oh, okay.
REI Wholesale Academy on the Texas Radio Real Estate Network.
Yep.
All right.
You got a professional back there,
Okay. What are the odds?
right? Now we just gotta find some professionals for up here.
Alright, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Clay Cahoon with the REI Wholesale Academy on the Texas Radio Real Estate Network. I'm here with my co-host AC Ramos. So
How you
AC,
doing?
what are we going to be talking about now?
One of the questions I get a lot is how is our business structured? Who does what in each position, and how we keep things moving, right? So, like I guess for let me ask you a question, kind of turn it around now. Is like before we get into the breakdown of the organizational chart and everything. Like, how does your business run? Like, because it's different. Like, I mean, when I did it, it was a one-man show or just me and a couple people. It's completely different from what we do now. So.
I think we all start out, even some of the big names that we know. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we all started out of our home office,
Right.
or at Starbucks or something like that, and that's how we all start. And we are, there's an old saying that I'm the chief cook or the chief cook and bottle washer or something. Means you do everything. You do
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah.
So you do the marketing, you answer the calls, you go to the house, you sign the contract, you manage the closing process. You find the buyer, you do everything.
You're the janitor.
And what you quickly find is that you can be successful up to a point, but what's limiting you is your time. You're only one person, or if you're fortunate enough, as I am now, to have a partner, somebody to help you, but there's only two of you. So you can only do that much work. And if you're having lunch, or if you're just tired and you want to take the day off, there's no marketing that's getting done. There's nothing that's getting done.
Mm.
So at some point, if you are successful, then you will come to a decision. I want to grow. Well, how do I do that? Well, you need people to do the marketing for you. You need people to answer the phones for you. And you can hire all of that. You can have organizations that do that. You can hire cold callers. You can hire an answering service. You can hire those people. You can hire those services, or you can build your own team. And you've actually built your own team. You've probably done both sides, but right now, you've invited me to your office. It's a very nice office. It's a lot of space. You've got a lot of people in there, and you've got a mosh pit of guys and gals with headsets on, and they're working the phones. And so it's clear that you've made a decision. I am going to build my own team right in front of me.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's very true, because I mean, definitely I like having everything right there. I mean, we do outsource to some VAs. We have about 4 or 5 VAs we work with that do stuff for us outside of the office. But our office is structured to be mostly self-contained inside, or our business is self-contained inside. And I do get a lot of questions about how we break that down, because so us, for our organizational chart and the way we do it is, there's a CEO, which I'm the CEO of the company, and then there's a COO of the company, which is Ceci. My fiance is the COO of the company. So COO, CEO, COO. We have a CFO, so that's the Chief Financial Officer,
Yes.
person who
Chief Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer, and Chief Financial Officer.
Yes, so Ceci is actually the COO and a hybrid of the CFO right now because she does it, but she also outsources and has a CPA and stuff like that. And then we have our acquisition manager, who earlier on a previous segment we got to meet Armand. He's the manager of the acquisition team.
Still
I
over
think he
there. was just
I think he
here a
took
minute
off.
ago.
I think he
Smart
took off
man,
on us.
smart
All
man.
right, he had to get back to the office and make that money.
Yeah.
So acquisition manager who manages and looks over our acquisition team of our acquisition reps, right? So we have
And
people.
And this
yeah,
is the person, when the person who's answering the call, when they have a question, they go to him.
to him,
And
yeah,
he
to help
gives them
close it.
advice on what to say, how to say it, things like that. So that's a very critical person to have.
Yeah, and then so under him we have the acquisition reps, and then we have a separate. Everything is kind of contained in different. It's compartmentalized.
That's all they do. The people that answer the calls, that's all they do is they answer the calls, they make offers, they try to put it under
Yeah, they
contract.
make calls and answer calls, talk to sellers. That they handle the acquisition side.
That's all they do.
That is their focus.
They don't go out to the house, they don't put it under contract, they don't.
Well, they might go out to the house, but they put it under contract. But they
That's it.
anything acquisition wise, they don't put the contract with the buyer. But then we have our sales disposition transaction coordinating section, right? And Ceci also handles the sales, and then Felicia Fernandez is our title coordinator, our closing coordinator.
That's a critical piece of the process.
Oh man, no, and she has title experience. She actually worked at a title company. She's actually my cousin too, so it's good to be able to have family.
So
And
what we're talking about is you can have a property under contract, you take that contract to a title company, the title company does whatever they do, and then they discover, oh, wait a minute, we have a problem, we need to get this, this, and this, we need these documents signed by by these people. That's the job of your title coordinator to get that done.
Exactly. So again, so CEO, my job is I'm a visionary. I have ADD. You don't really want me in charge of anything important, or at least keep me focused, right? So my job is like having the vision, big ideas, big relationships, solving big problems.
It's your job to keep track of the trends, what tools are coming out,
Yes.
what direction do we want, what types of leads do we want to chase, how do we want to do it. It's more the big picture, but you're not the person who needs to answer the phone.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want me doing that.
You're just kind of setting the direction.
And then also to have ideas, like you said, on the marketing and other income streams. You know what I mean? Like brokering loans and to get buyers in, like Alex was talking about previously, or just all kinds of different things. Like what can we do? What kind of other marketing streams are we going to look for? Like a certain type of marketing avenue to bring in another niche of marketing, I guess it should be. Like, so let's try this new niche because that can bring in more income.
Let's
and
try
we can try
this
this,
new tool.
right?
I've heard about this tool. It seems like it could fit what we're doing.
Exactly.
Let's test it out.
And then the COO, Ceci, it's her job to mostly kind of keep tabs on the processes and systems. Make sure everybody's following the right, and overall in the company, following the right processes, following the right systems. She deals with difficult situations with buyers or sellers, like if something comes up. Now, if it gets to be a big problem, again, it comes up to me and I solve the big problems or something like that, like anything that comes up.
Those should be very few and far between.
And they should be, and they are. There's very rarely that I have to get in and talk to somebody or deal with something. So she's awesome at that too. She also does reviews and reports on all the stuff and that's important to our business, like our pipeline, right?
Yeah, we've had 100 calls yesterday. We talked to 37 sellers. We placed 2 houses under contract. We got 3 closings for next week, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and keeping track of, we have this many deals in the pipeline to close, and these are the issues with them, and we're getting closer. And she also tracks like the revenue. What's our current revenue that we closed this week and last week or up to this date? And then what are we closing coming up, right? And then, like I said, CFO, she's kind of a hybrid. CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, pays the bills, right? Pays the bills,
Pays the
manages
rent.
quick bills. Yes,
That's
got it.
important.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, the rent. You don't pay the rent, something. Why do they put those locks on there? I don't
Yeah, why
understand.
they keep putting those locks on? What's that about?
Managing QuickBooks. I'm not good at keeping track of stuff, but she loves QuickBooks. People that are like
That's
running the
huge.
businesses, the finances, QuickBooks is
piece
huge.
of the puzzle.
Managing budgets, our marketing budgets, our overhead budget, like you said, rent. We have a pretty large office. Rent is like close to like $5,000 a month. You know what I mean? So that's a cost that needs to be watched, right? And then we have our acquisition manager. Like I said, his job is watching over the rep team. And then the acquisition reps, it's their job to generate revenue for the company, right? and then sales and transaction coordinating, sales, managing the marketing process for
Yeah.
sales, finding the buyers.
You're showing homes, you're evaluating offers, and that's, all of those are extremely critical.
Mhm.
Without, there's opportunities for failures in any one of those.
And then the transaction coordinator, like you said, she's one of the most crucial parts because like just as of yesterday, we were having a problem with the deal, and she called Ceci, and they worked really closely together, worked it out. We got the deal closed, $17,500 deal, and then we have an $18,500 deal closing tomorrow, and that's all. And they had issues, right? So that's how the breakdown of our organization goes. And
those are all the pieces of the puzzle. You can do them yourself, or you can hire your own team.
And we're with the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we will be right back, guys. Awesome. Huh?
The lonely copper.
So how many of you done these now?
I have no idea.
Episodes?
That was the end of 2, right there. This was show 2.
So are you starting to get used to the timing?
I'm trying to figure it out, and we're trying to get our timing down because I think we keep forgetting about like at the end of the training, mentioning the mastermind.
Yeah, we
and
need to
everything. Yeah,
talk.
right.
Hey, we're just helping people.
Right? You know, what I mean, we're getting good. We're figuring out. Right now, we're just playing it by ear, having fun.
Just learning.
Yeah, learning how it goes. So that was the end of show 2. So that's that, right? We got everything in there.
So is that the new name of the mastermind, the REI Wholesale?
It's just a radio show right now, and then it'll probably lead into we're gonna have the mastermind, and it's kind of gonna be combined in there and everything like that. Yeah, we're looking at how we can grow things that way. So, show 3. I was jumping to show 4.
We doing 4 shows too?
Yeah, 4 shows. Knock out the whole one.
I thought somebody said we had the place till 11.
Is that a roast
Oh yeah. So I had enough people to film 4 episodes, but I think you said we were out of time at
12:30.
It's
What time is it now?
It's probably, I don't know.
11:42.
I said we can knock out that 3rd show
Let's do the 3rd show,
and the 4th show.
and then do the segments that were your guests,
Ah,
right? And then you
okay.
come back
Yeah,
and
because
do
we have the 2 other guests up for show 3 and 4.
You're just starting show 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could do show 3 and just the spotlight of show 4, possibly, or is that what? I don't know.
Let's
how
just
that
get
works.
going. The last segment we'll do is your guest, and then we'll build out the rest.
Okay. Well, I'm saying I have 2.
I understand. You have 2 guests.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I had the guest for show 3 and
I
the
got
guest
it.
for show 4.
So at 12 o'clock we'll start the guest segments.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
so
go ahead,
we'll
do
do
what you gotta
everything
do.
except the guests right here. Okay. Awesome.
So we're going to talk about types of distress.
Yeah. So we'll do the intro right now. That's the 9 minutes with us, and then we'll do the student at the end, and then we don't have a sponsor right now anyway. That's here. Like Patriot Title was supposed to be here at 11. I don't know what.
We have time.
Okay.
I mean, we got time to get these things done. It's okay.
Okay.
You already got about 3 shows in the bag, so.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So we'll do the intro, and then we don't have a sponsor.
I like the
and
intro.
we'll
I'm
do
almost getting it right this time, I think.
All right. So what do you want to talk about in the beginning of it to open it up? To kind of relate with the.
Why don't we just do a recap? Hey, the past couple of shows we've been talking about, what it is, how to set up your company. You can do it virtually, or you can do it, hire your own team, have your own office. I just think a recap
Okay.
is good.
Okay.
And we'll just talk right in.
Can I give you a suggestion?
Yes.
Let him do the recap, and then so this is just classic YouTuber, Facebook Live bullshit. He does the recap and say, today here's what I'm going to teach you, right? Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to and then list the things you're actually. I'm going to talk to you about 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you start, and then you can go through the introduction. And then when you come to that, so you always at the beginning of every show just want to say, we're going to talk to you today about 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Right. So just tell them, hey, I'm going to have a sponsor on. I'm going to have my students on, or kicking ass, and we're going to cover whatever your thing is, motivated stock, whatever it is, right? and then just get into it. Just give them the headers.
Yeah, real quick synopsis.
Yeah, absolutely. And then people will know if they want to stay and watch or not.
Well, of course they will.
I know. Of course they will. Yes. I'll come back in at noon.
All right.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Clay Cahoon with the REI Wholesale Academy on the Texas Radio Real Estate Network. I think I got it right that time.
Man, you're getting good at it.
I'm with AC Ramos.
And yeah, I am here with him, and we are ready to. We're actually going to be. We have a very full hour right now, so kind of give us a.
What we're going to be talking about today are different types of distress. Here on the show, we've been talking about wholesaling, what it is, how to do it, how to set up your company, what types of activities you're going to need to do. Do you want to do them yourself, or do you want to hire a team to do it? And today we're going to talk about the different types of distress. Basically, the different types of homeowners that you'll be talking to as a wholesaler. The different types of distress would be kinds of motivation. You have physical distress. The house is a wreck. I don't know what to do. I'm tired of living here. You got the financial distress. I've lost my job. I've gotten injured. I can no longer afford the house. You got the circumstantial distress. I've inherited the house. I'm moving to Cleveland. I need to be at the new job next month. What am I going to do? And the different types of marketing that you can do to these folks. We're going to be covering a lot of material in a very short amount of time. So strap in.
Yeah, and we've been spotlighting our sponsors for one, and we'll be talking to them later. But spotlighting case studies of successful students that have been in the mastermind and programs that are hitting the ground running and actually getting deals done. So I think that's important because a lot of people, I think, I know when I talk to people, they're like, well, I've done this and this is what I do for a living now, and I just don't know if I could do that, right? So
I'm afraid of talking to people on the phone. I don't know, picking up the phone and calling somebody. I don't know. That makes me nervous.
That is I get it because for me, even public speaking, I'm on stage sometimes talking to people. I get nervous doing that.
Dozens of times.
Yeah, and I'm nervous every single time, right? And it's a lot like being on the phone, calling. It's like, to me, it's not the fear. It's not about you're ever going to be not scared or not at least some kind of butterflies or nerves, but it's about doing it anyway, taking the action when you have the fear.
When you really don't want to, you do it anyway.
Exactly.
That's when you know you're going to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. What's the saying? Successful people do what they don't want to do when they don't want to do it, so that they can do what others can't do what others can't do or whatever.
That's exactly what they said.
Yeah, I think that was exactly it, right? So,
Perfect.
but yeah, I think that's part of it, right? And so that's why we're spotlighting many different kinds of people. We had a young couple on here that came from another city.
Fantastic story.
Yeah, one of the guys was driving Uber and Lyft or driving Lyft. And it doesn't matter. Not only was he driving Lyft, he's now doing real estate deals in Killeen. Like not even here in Houston. He's doing some in Houston here, I'm sure, but he's doing some in Killeen. This works anywhere in the United States. And one of the things I like to tell people is with wholesaling, if you took everything away from me right now, and left me, and dropped me off in any city in the United States, as long as I have shelter and my cell phone, and I probably don't even need a laptop. I could probably do it all on my cell phone now. Cell phones are pretty much like little laptops, right? I can come out of that city with a check in 30 days, right?
Yeah, with a comma in it.
Yeah, with a comment, because I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get as much as I can out of it. But so do you feel like you could do the same thing now that you know about wholesaling? If you had to be dropped off somewhere, maybe we should do this one day. We should get dropped off somewhere in the United States and just film a show.
Have somebody throw a sack over our heads, toss us in the trunk, and drop us off somewhere.
No flashbacks, no.
But yes, the concepts are not very difficult. You have a little bit of hustle. You find somebody that has a house they can't use or they're going to lose. You place that house under contract, and then you find somebody that's a better fit for that house than you are. And they pay you a fee to take over that contract, and they close on the house, and the buyer gets their contract price, and you get your fee to let somebody else take over your contract.
So let's hypothetically say somebody dropped you off in another city, anywhere USA, what would be the first thing you would do? Now, let's assume that you had shelter, like I was saying, and I'm kind of spoiled now, so it's got to be like a nice hotel or something, okay, a nice Airbnb with some food and as long as I have food and shelter and my phone, I'm good. So if you had your shelter, food, and your phone, what would be the first thing you do?
I would look for that county's foreclosure list online, or I would look for the tax assessor collector and try to get their delinquent tax list.
That is awesome. I would find an area of middle class to lower income properties, and I would probably start looking for the distressed properties that look vacant and abandoned, and then trying to manually research some of that. See, and there's so many ways to start, right?
You could also jump on meetup.com, put in your zip code that you're in, and it'll show you all the meetings that are happening in your zip code. Check out and see what real estate meetings are going on.
And you know why I would do that? Because I was going to say that's another thing that I would do. The reason I would do that is that's where you're going to find your buyers, right? You go to these meetups, you go to these networking events, like we have a networking event, Prosperity, Jet, who's one of our sponsors who was just here, they have a huge networking event. Who goes to these real estate networking events? A lot of wholesalers, a lot of people looking for free food, but also there's a lot of real cash buyers there. There's people with money, the people that are looking for deals. They get out there because most of the people with money that are buying houses that have engineer jobs or something like that, or they can qualify for hard money loans and actually have the money for reserves and everything. They have jobs, but they don't have time to go look for it. Exactly. They don't have time to go look for it. And I think there's always going to be that opening, right? So, because people are like, oh, wholesaling, you're starting, it's so saturated. Do you feel it's saturated?
I think there's enough deals out there, and there are enough deals to go around.
I have a very abundance mentality, so I totally agree with you. Plus, I think people don't realize that most people that start in wholesaling, not all, not everybody wants to run a wholesaling business. What I do is not, I don't see that I'm a wholesaler. I own a wholesale company, right? Because I'm buying houses, I'm rehabbing them, renting some properties, stuff like that. My main job is to build private money in our company for what we do. But wholesalers usually rotate out, either they don't like wholesaling because they're not good at scaling it up. So they're just onesies, twosies, just mom and pop trying to get along. And then once they make some money, they go into buying their rentals or doing flips. And a lot of them want to just, I believe you have to have the whole array, right? Because you build your wealth with holding properties, right? Like landlords, they make money while they sleep, right? They're the ones that usually don't go broke unless they mess everything up. But that's where you build your wealth. And that's where most people try to grow to. Not everybody wants to stay in that wholesale realm. So there's always going to be a need for the people finding the deals, the people doing the footwork to bring those deals to everybody else.
That's a very valuable service. A lot of people don't have the time, or they don't have the inclination to go out and find their own deals. They'll pay you to find them for them.
Exactly. So, like you said, so you drop me off in another city, you'd start by pulling a list. Even if I didn't have money to pull a list, I would start by walking for dollars, driving for dollars, riding the bus for dollars, whatever I got to do, finding some properties, talking to the neighbors, because a lot of times they'll tell you for free how to get in touch with the seller, or then go and do a manual skip search like you were talking about, bin verified or something like that. Quick and easy ways to find sellers, right? Yeah, so guys, if you're interested in learning more about that, contact us. Let us know. We help our mastermind group do this all the time. Like I said, if we got dropped off in a city, that's exactly what we would do. And we can show you how to do it too. This is REI Wholesale Academy. For this hour, we answer questions, and we are on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we will be back in a bit, guys.
Damn, like a fucking pro.
Oh, I know, that was great.
Shit.
Somebody knows what they're doing.
Excellent.
It only took a few shots.
Hey, let's run the two next segments for the guests, and if you have time to come back and do one more,
Okay.
just make sure we're on the clock because not wasting their time.
Okay, awesome.
We're going to be back in about 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks. If you're not here, no big deal, but nice seeing everyone.
You too.
We didn't really cover the types of distress. We could do that.
No, because we would just recap the show, and then we're going to touch that in the other segment. But I think we're running out of time, so we're going to knock out Raven and David. So we'll do 2 back-to-back sections with the guest.
Let's do it. Let's get them in there.
All right. Who wants to go first? Or
I'll go.
all right. No, don't twist your arm.
I can tell you feel that excitement coming out of the
What happened?
I was being dumb.
So we'll talk for first couple minutes in, just kind of we'll mention you, and then we'll just kind of talk about, you know, how we're spotlighting, you know, people from different walks and stuff like that and everywhere, and then we'll kind of right about the probably a little bit before the 5-minute mark we'll go into, because last time we ran out of time a little bit.
Yeah. If you can remember it, it's natural to talk to us, but what we're here for the folks that are there. So if you can, even though there's not a person there, it's kind of awkward until you get used to it. But see if you could.
Because we're on the radio, but
speak
that's
to
also
this
a
as if
podcast.
it's a person.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Clay Cahoon with the REI Wholesale Academy, and we're on the Texas Radio Real Estate Network. We're here talking about how to become a wholesaler, what it takes, how to set up your business, different types of distress. We're dropping a lot of knowledge. My co-host today is AC Ramos.
Hola, how y'all doing? That's my Spanish. That's my extensive
That's it.
Spanish.
I can order a taco in Spanish. That's about it.
I'm like, yeah. I get a lot of trouble for that because my fiance Ceci, you know her.
Oh, yeah.
She's actually was born in Mexico, and you know, and so, but she's from Monterrey, and her whole family, like the Spanish they speak is completely different though. It's like I can't. There's no way. I think I'm more embarrassed to even try to talk it because it's so fast. So
Yeah, my Spanish is dos suadero, por favor.
I don't even know what that is.
That's a taco. It's like the taco.
Really?
Suadero, yeah.
All right. Oh, so they're from the taco stand.
Street taco.
I remember that. Awesome. So we're here today. This is our case study spotlight section of the show. This is where we want to come in and bring people that are actually having success that
That are making the
recently
transition.
started, right? Yeah, making the transition from some other type of business, some other type of life, whatever, you know, trying to get away from, you know, enter the witness protection program. You got to start it. I'm just joking. So like, we don't got none of those yet.
Not that we know of.
Not that we're going to put on camera. Like, we'll blur your face up. So today we have David with us, David Hanna. And he, like I said, we're looking to spotlight people who recently have had success that were not doing a lot of real estate before or no real estate. Literally coming in, being coachable, doing what you have to do, putting in the work and grinding it out, right? Everybody talks about, you know, wanting to be a boss, wanting to be a millionaire or a boss or whatever, but how many people really want to put in the work? So we're here to spotlight people that are on their way trying to grow to those kind of levels and actually putting in the work. So, David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you, man. You know, you've been putting in the work, so you deserve to be here, man. Kind of tell us a little bit about what you were doing before real estate.
Before I started doing real estate, I was a drug and alcohol counselor. So I've been doing that since 2006, and the company that I was with was going away. So I needed to do something else, and I had never heard of wholesaling like last year. I didn't know it was a thing.
Really? Okay, I knew you just got in because we've been working together for, I mean, how long have you been now? It hasn't even been a year.
No, it's been about 6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months. So yeah, no, man. So you didn't even know what it was before a year ago.
No, I was on some wholesalers lists, but I thought that wholesalers were real estate agents. I thought they were just sending me their I didn't know there was a difference.
Don't let any real estate agents tell you that, or hear you say that, and they might get a little upset. Sometimes they don't like us wholesalers.
And the other way around.
Yeah, but we're friendly here. We're agent friendly, so we'll be cool with them as long as they're cool with us. But a lot of them don't understand. Like, I mean, because it's funny that you thought that they were agents, because a lot of agents don't even really understand wholesaling. You know, they don't even understand the process of it. So you didn't understand you didn't know what it was. 6 months ago, we met up when you got in the program, and you kind of were you doing anything before that?
So I went to another workshop, and I had actually found a couple of deals, but it didn't really feel like it, like I knew the process that well. And then I hooked up with you, and like immediately within a few days, like I went to a workshop, and before I even made it to a mastermind meeting, I already had a deal. So
Wow.
so it was pretty quick.
Yeah, and I think it sounds like a lot of people are like, oh wow, that quick. And I think it's more of following the systems and processes, right? You know what I mean? Because like it's not rocket science. It's more of a repetitive, consistent taking of actions that are concise. That have a purpose, right?
That's what I was thinking, it's more consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Well, I mean, consistently doing the right things, right? Because I see a lot of people spinning their wheels, and you start talking to them, and they're not really doing anything. It's like, what have you been doing with your time? Well, I'm getting my LLC set up. Well, I'm getting some business cards. Yeah, the basics. So tell us kind of, once you got in, what did you do to find some of the deals you did?
So the first thing I did was I had to just jump and not let my fear stop me from doing anything.
Right.
And so people told me about the different kinds of marketing avenues, and I just started doing some of those. And I did everything from looking on the MLS to knocking on doors to sending mailers to hopping on the phone and calling people. And essentially I just did what you said I should do, and tried not to let my fear stop me, and things just started happening.
Yeah, no, and that's it. It's like I said, it's 90% of it is mental, right? Like I said, it's once you have the systems, you can follow it. But what holds us back more than anything else is us. Our fear of getting on the phone, our fear of, am I doing it right? What do I do and how do I start, right? So once you started, you got these deals. I mean, what was your first deal like?
My first deal was not very big. First deal was about a $6,000 assignment fee, and then I didn't know who to sell it to, and so I did a co-wholesaling thing. So I only got $3,000 of that, and my wholesale fees since then have ranged from that $3,000 to $15,000, and so I've done several deals now, and I've also acquired my first 3 rental properties. So over the course of a very short amount of time, I pocketed quite a bit of money, and I have 3 rental properties, and now I'm already starting to grow where I have an assistant. I'm looking for somebody that's going to help me on the phones. I have some people that are doing some cold calling for me, and our marketing is just growing and growing and growing. So I want to build what you got.
Awesome. Hey, it just takes the work, right? Mm-hmm. How much would you say you made in wholesale fees in the first 6 months?
Because in the beginning I didn't have anybody to sell them to, I was splitting a lot of the deals, but I put about $42,000 in my pocket. So
that's really good, because like you said, you picked up rentals. So rehab properties. Mm-hmm. I know one rehab property you're working on, you're going to do pretty good on that. You could have wholesaled that and taken a chunk, probably a pretty good chunk. But what kind of profit is that going to look like when you're done with it?
So we have 3 properties we're rehabbing right now. One of them is a rental that we're keeping. One of them is a flip, and we expect to make about $70,000 on that.
Wow.
We're also rehabbing another one, and that's probably going to be about $150,000.
Oh man, so 150 on one rehab, 70 on another rehab, and already pocketed 42.
And we have about $70,000 in equity on our rentals.
You and I need to go sit down, you can talk.
Yeah, right? Hey, that's what he's trying to do, right? You got to get there. He's putting in the work though, right? So tell us.
What's been the most what's the biggest aha moment that you had? That you went from, could this work, to holy cow, this is working?
I think being around people that I know that are actually doing it, and talking to them like face to face, and them telling me where they were 6 months or a year ago. And then also the very first deal that you get, like even though I only made $3,000 on my first deal, then I knew it was possible. And so going from, this could work, everybody says it works, that kind of thing, to actually having a check in your hand, then, the sky's the limit once you understand that.
Yeah, no. So and I think that's the big aha moment for a lot of people, is like you said, like seeing people and being around people that really are doing it. And that first check, so when it's your spouse and you show them the check and get them convinced, it's usually called the shut up check. When it's yourself, it's the I believe check. Like, wow, this is real check. So again, David came into the program like about 6 months ago and has been just hitting it hard. If you're interested in talking to us about our mastermind and trying to be like David, right? Hit us up and let us know, and we can talk to you about getting in the mastermind with us, trying to see what you got to do to get your business started, what we can do to get you started. And like I said, this is the REI Wholesale Academy, and this hour is for answering your questions and spotlighting people doing it. And we will be back in a little while on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. See you guys. All right.
I went fast, didn't it?
Doesn't even seem like 9 minutes, huh?
Was it 9 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, it seemed like 3 or 4.
No, we'll see if you, it does, like, because he puts up the, like, I thought we just started and he puts up the 5 minute thing, and I'm like, already? And then we start talking and then it's like 2 minutes, and then he does the 1 minute, and then we gotta start getting ready to close and everything. I'm like, man, it just goes so fast.
Need somebody like that when we're on the phone with sellers.
Yes. Right? That's our motto.
You got 10 seconds to close it. You got 5 seconds to close it.
Close it.
3.
Close it.
Okay, give me that phone. All right.
All right. Yeah, that's exactly when you. I wish sellers would be on a timer. We had one the other day that just wanted to talk and talk and talk. I could see the acquisition guy on the phone with him, and it's just like he was already like zoning out. But the seller, but those are the people that they're motivated because like you have to listen to them because they have nobody else to talk to.
Yeah, Raven and I are partnering on one right now, and the lady when I went and talked to her just talk. But if I had stayed there and listened to her,
You wouldn't have got it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got it.
Oh, exactly. About ready, Raven?
Yep, I just emailed somebody interested in that deal.
Awesome.
Whoa, it's really bright over here.
Right.
Grab
So
anything?
we call it
Yeah,
the
this one, I
spotlight.
don't like that one. This one, the mic is on that side, if that works for you. The others are on the left.
I'm not sure which side I want to show. Let me show them the right side of my face.
Oh, I didn't even notice they were on different sides.
Yeah, that one, this one's on the right. It's like I've been using this for so long, I'm like, no, I don't want to use that one.
I think my headset that I make calls on, it's on the left, so this feels more natural to me.
I didn't know. Thank you
It
for
makes a difference.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
it
calling Geico.
This is
Oh,
full.
I worked that was me. That was me. I worked
Y'all have audio on your right ear, only on the left.
It should be in both.
I would hear it in the left ear on this.
Talking.
No, I hear other people
No, he's
on
right.
this.
He's right. It's only in this here.
Hello.
Yeah, it's definitely only in the left ear.
Hello.
I'm getting you in both.
Okay. Just us.
All right.
Good enough, I can hear you.
It works.
Maybe one of my ears doesn't work right. Hearing stuff from the other ear. All right. So we'll kind of bring it in, just talk about like we're spotlighting and stuff, and then we'll just start going into your story.
Cool.
How you got started and like your miserable job and everything before this.
Dude, I can ham it up. Let's go.
Your name is Raven?
Just like the bird, yeah.
Just like the bird.
I wanted to make sure I
It's
heard
the
about it.
easiest thing to tell people.
So great.
Oh, that's cool. I say AC like air conditioner. I like that. Because I'm cool.
Yeah, I've never heard you say that before.
I used to tell people that like AC like air conditioner because I'm cool.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Clay Cahoon with the REI Wholesale Academy, and we're on the Texas Radio Real Estate Network. We're talking about transitioning from your terrible, awful job into a life of freedom, wholesaling. Easy as pie, right? No challenges there. My co-host right now is AC Ramos, and with us today is Raven to talk about his experience in going from having a job into working for himself.
Yeah, and so this is the case study spotlight section of our show, and that's why we have Raven here is because we want to show all the different types of people that can get into wholesaling, right? Couples, single people, young people, older people. I guess we're the older people, but anybody can be in wholesaling, right? It doesn't matter. And like we talked about earlier, dropping us off anywhere in the United States, it works. Wholesaling works. I've seen it change so many lives, right? And the reason we're able to do these spotlights and these case studies is because we have a lot of people that are having success and that have come through our program and come through our mastermind that are putting in the work and doing what they have to do to have the success. And today, like we said, we have Raven with us. So first of all, Raven, start with what you were doing before real estate. You know, I mean, if you can't tell, Raven is a very young man. You know, I mean,
I'm
and
26, about to be 27.
right? Hey,
Yeah, older.
that's a youngin.
I thought I was an old man at that point. I thought, man,
I feel that way.
I feel that way.
Yeah.
I think it's the beard. Like you know what? I could never grow a beard like that even if I wanted to.
I could do a goatee, but on the sides. And
I can't even do that. I think this is like 3 weeks of growing right here.
I don't want to make too much fun of you, but I'm taller than both of you. Got the beard, so who's older here? I don't know.
Right? I think that's genetics.
I'm blessed.
I could put different shoes on.
You got some heels?
All right.
He's got heels.
Don't test me.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what you were doing before. What made you not want to do what you were doing before, and what were you doing and led you to real estate?
Well, I never wanted to work a job. From as long as I can remember, I was in high school just trying to figure out what I could do to avoid having to go into the rat race. So went to college, hated it, and then just worked a bunch of odd jobs, stuff from like bartending for a couple of years to working some sales jobs. Plus I have some background in creative like photography and videography, so I have a little side income that way, but just like kind of all over the place. I've tried a lot of stuff, failed a lot of stuff. And
No, you didn't fail, you learned.
that's true, I appreciate that.
Right?
But it's like a badge of honor, you know, if you haven't failed at something, then you're not doing something
trying.
right.
You're not
Yeah,
trying.
exactly.
Well, I think on top of that is if everything goes your way, then you really don't understand the tough times in life. I'm a big believer of it. If you don't go through the bad days, you don't appreciate the good days.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right?
Yeah, I'm very grateful, and you know, I'm not where I want to be yet, but it's the experiences that matter, you know, because that's the only thing. It's all up here. Everything's
Oh
in your
yes, yes. Oh yeah, definitely. 90% of this is mental.
head.
You know, 10% is like I think that's why we have people from all kinds of walks of life and any kind of form or fashion. Is systems are systems.
Right.
It's the mindset to follow the system, and like Kelly says, be coachable.
Yeah.
Right. So you got any questions for him?
Again, what was the moment when you understood that this could work and this is for me? I can really make it go. What was that moment like?
Well, for me, I'm not the fastest moving person, and that's like something I've recognized about myself. So for me, really, I am my own worst enemy. I mean, everybody says that, but it's really, really true. So I knew what wholesaling was before I came across AC. I was actually going to go work a job for one of the big wholesaling outfits here in town, and then they kind of rubbed me the wrong way with some stuff that happened, and I ended up...
No, right? No way.
I ended up not doing that, and decided to go out on my own under AC's tutelage, because I knew the mechanics, but that wasn't enough for me. I needed more than that. And AC's really good. His style of, he kind of figures a person out and then helps like individually what you need. And for me, that's like, don't be on me because I'll get annoyed and like upset. But like
When I
also
need you, I'll
call
come
me
to
out. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
he's been really helpful in that aspect for me.
I appreciate that.
So I did exactly what he said. There were some times where I overcomplicated it.
Yes.
And every time I found myself overcomplicating, it's like I'm reforming myself constantly, and I know that I tend to overcomplicate things. So every time I started straying away, I would just say, okay, stop and go back. And it took me about 2 months once I really started, you know, putting...
Took you about 2 months to get yourself ready to go. Because
Yeah.
that third month where you actually put in the work and actually, you're an analytical personality.
It's funny because when you met me, you didn't think that, but now I think maybe you've switched.
No,
your
I didn't
perspective.
think that at first.
Yeah.
I thought he was more of a driver, and he has driver in him, but he analyzes a lot and tended to get paralysis by overanalysis.
Yeah, I can confirm that.
The
for
worst
sure.
thing to do for an analyst is to make a bad deal.
Yeah, because then you'll never do it.
Yeah,
You'll never want to do anything.
I should have known better.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm kind of getting past that because now I'm just sort of at the point where it's like I've done my first deal and like I know what's possible, and so I'm just sort of like, if I'm not making mistakes, like I'd rather make mistakes and lose a deal than not make a mistake and have no deal. You know what I mean?
That's completely different than the way he was when he first started. So
Yeah.
tell us about, so the first 2 months you were actually kind of working a job in the beginning. You got out of that.
So I got fired, and then, but I already had the job lined up with the unnamed company, and then decided after some stuff happened that I didn't want to go do that. But then I just freaked out because I don't like not having income. And pretty soon after I started learning from you, I went and I got a job. It was a sales job.
I was so surprised by that too.
Yeah, I'm weird, so I still haven't figured myself out. But I went and I got a job, and then ended up kind of just like quitting. Like after like a month and a half or two, I had been on the phones making calls, and I wasn't completely comfortable, but I knew that like at least I could make myself get on the phone and do it. And then one day my boss called me and he asked me how I was doing. I was like, not good. And he said, take the day off, and I never went back. And then it was like a month later that I did my first deal.
Yeah, because that was the first 2 months. That third month, we got to kind of wrap it up kind of quick here. But how did you get that first deal?
Follow up and like solving a lot of problems. I had to do a bunch of stuff. Like I had to get the tenant with a lease in place because it was just a verbal lease agreement. And there's a couple other things, just like the seller was just like really slow to move. So I just had to like match him and, you know, figure him out.
Get him lined up. But you got it locked down. And then how much? How'd you sell it?
Bandit signs.
So found a buyer with bandit signs, and that's one of the things we talk about. But even though it's a simple thing, but bandit signs. How much you make on that deal?
$40,125.
They got to throw in the 125.
Hey, it's the exact number, yeah.
$40,125. Now the key for this is the first one. Telling him is like realizing how he is, and he was able to get that deal done. No, letting him know, like we had a talk, and it was like, hey, now you need to start growing your business, because, like I said, I could already tell he's not going to be one to make the calls all the time. So that's exactly where Raven was. That's how he got his first deal done. We are here on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. If you're interested in talking to us about being in our mastermind and being around people like ourselves and Raven and other people that are doing deals and taking action and making things happen, you know, contact us, reach out to us, and we would gladly be able to help you and talk to you and see if you're a fit for that. So again, we're on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. This is REI Wholesale Academy. We are here to answer your questions. We are here to spotlight action takers, deal doers, and inspirational people that are here to make a difference and touch, move, and inspire people. So again, Texas Real Estate Radio Network, and we will be back in a bit, guys. Awesome.
You're natural, David.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Look good on camera.
All right. I guess, did they want us to wrap up now?
I didn't actually, you said it so many times, but I actually catch your name.
Oh, I'm Clay.
Clay? Raven. You said.
Yeah, I made a tool called Real Acquisitions. It's not as good as it used to be, but when I was there, I designed it.
I'm glad I turned off Facebook Live before you said that.